Adequate notice of this meeting has been given in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act pursuant to Public Laws 1975, Chapter 231. This agenda is complete to the extent known and was sent to the Trenton Times and the Trentonian newspapers, posted on the first floor bulletin board in City Hall, filed in the City's Clerk's office, and posted on the City of Trenton website. Formal action will be taken. Roll call. Councilwoman Edwards.
Present.
Councilwoman Feliciano.
Present.
Councilwoman Figueroa Kettenberg is en route, correct? Is en route, understood?
That's correct.
Councilwoman Gonzalez.
Present.
Councilman Harrison.
Present.
Councilwoman Williams.
Present.
Council President Brisbane.
Present.
Myself, Randy Garcia, Municipal Clerk, present. Mr. Wesley Bridges, Council. Present. And Mr. Colosio is excused from this meeting. And Council President, if Mr. Will, I will read the invocation.
Yes, please.
Certainly. Almighty God, who holds the fate of man and nation, we most humbly beseech thee to bless this, our city, these deliberations, and these thy servants, that they may act with wisdom and understanding for the good of our community and thy greater glory. Amen. On your call, Council President.
Let's proceed.
Certainly. We have a presentation today, Council President. We have advice and consent for Mr. Sean Semple. Mr. Semple, as I understand it, has elected to have this matter heard in public, and without further ado, I will defer to the mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk, and Council President, Council Vice President, and distinguished members of the Council. I present for advice and consent Sean Semple to be the Director of Trenton Waterworks. One of the criticisms that city administrations often get is that we don't promote within, we don't focus on our talents that are in-house, people that have grown through the system. And here is where Sean comes in, a 22-year veteran of Trenton Waterworks, and I believe a notebook of accomplishments in the last year has been distributed to council. I just wanted to go over the highlights. One of the major concerns from DEP is that we are not phasing out our reservoir. Well, under Mr. Semple's leadership, we are. We're making things safer for our 5 distribution municipalities. We're decommissioning the reservoir. We're building storage tanks. And right on Prospect Street, lo and behold, we have an excavation pit. And we are doing the first 2 water tanks that will be in the system. Also under Sean, we have replaced about 10,000 lead service lines, and we were able to get an EPA grant for $5.5 million, so we can take another 1,000 lead service lines out of the system. We are now finally replacing meters and changing them over to smart meters. 25,000 meters are going to be changed to smart meters in this system. Sean also spearheaded the Legionella response. The DEP initiated this last year. Now it is under direct direction of Trenton Waterworks. So we're taking it out from the state hands, and the response is being done internally. One of the things that has been a pet peeve of mine are the super pulsators. They're the intake mechanisms that when we take water in from the Delaware, that's the first mechanism to filter the water. And we've only had about 1.5 of the 4 pulsators that have been working when I came in. Now all 4 are working. We use 2 at a time. And it's really important that these super pulsators are taking in intake from the Delaware. It's the first instance of filtering out and then going back into the system where it's further treated. We have started the leak detection, the Bluetooth that's on hydrants to find out proactively where leaks are in the system. That was under Sean. And I guess the most important for the bottom line dollars is that the Trenton Waterworks has collected $18 million since June 1st on outstanding water bills. As you know, during the pandemic, you didn't have to pay your water bills, and many families decided not to. And out of the millions of dollars that have not been collected, we started collections on 18 million that have been brought in since June 1. So I think in all areas of the water works system, Sean has been a great leader. And if you look in the room, I think if everybody could raise their hand from Trenton Waterworks. And I think we all recognize that Trenton Waterworks, it's easy to be a punching bag in the area. And here you have hard-working Trentonians that are making sure that Trenton Waterworks, the T stays in TWW. And I'm really proud of all the accomplishments they've done. They've been working really hard these last years. And under Sean's leadership, I think we're going to continue to keep the T in Trenton Waterworks. So with that, I'd like Sean Semple as the Permanent Director for Trenton Waterworks. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mayor. Madam President, Madam Vice President, Council members, I want to thank you for giving me this opportunity to present what I plan, my plans for the future of Trenton Waterworks moving forward. I have an awesome group of employees sitting behind me, and they're working hard, we're working together, and we're going to move this utility forward. We have challenges. Yes, we do. We all recognize that. When I took over, we had challenges, but we've made a lot of improvements throughout this process. As you know, Trenton Waterworks is one of the oldest utilities in New Jersey, in America as a whole. And we have a lot of deficiencies. It's an old system. It will require a lot of work moving forward. A lot of money has to be spent to make this utility come up to grade. And I'm here to tell you, I'm ready with my people in the room to move this utility forward and make it a successful utility. We have to maintain good water quality throughout our systems. We have a lot of work to do to strengthen our operation and advance major capital projects over the next years. I'm estimating over the next 20 years, we're going to have to spend up to $500 million to upkeep our infrastructure within the system. As you might know, water is complicated. You may not know this, but it is. It's a complicated process. You have approved many chemicals that we use in our system. I know people ask the questions why. You have approved millions of dollars of projects so far, and many more to come for us to be successful as we move this utility forward. We have to train our people. I'm educated like some of you in the building. I've been a math tutor for 21 years at Mercer County College. And I know that we have to build our people in order to, we have to train them. We have to get them licensed moving forward in order to keep this utility successful. As you may know, we are under unilateral consent order. And we are being watched by the Department of Environmental Protection and consultants that they're hiring. We work hand in hand with them I don't have any complaints from them so far about our products that we're moving forward with. I plan, once I'm the director, to continue advancing our progress. I think I've given you, most of you have gotten a booklet with an update, with a lot of our accomplishments. And I just plan to continue on that track. A lot of them are in here, and there's a lot more to come. We're going to continue to update this flyer, this leaflet. And I always have a policy where I am open to answer any questions regarding our progress. I've never turned anyone down. I try to give the answers. If I don't have the answer right away from you, I have the staff that if it's their area of concern, I will get the right answers. It's never failed. In my 22 years of experience working as a public works administrator, I've managed a lot of projects. I've managed a lot of employees. This is the largest I've had to manage. And so far, yes, we've had issues. Some people are not happy because of certain decisions I've had to make. When I met with our budget officer, I was told that I have to manage our overtime. Sorry. I have to manage our overtime process. I've never denied overtime to any unit manager that approached me. But I just need an explanation why, how long, and the purpose, as well as the outcome. I had to manage that process. That's my way of managing. I'm going to stop reading, because this is coming from the heart right now. About 5 months ago, I was informed by the Department of Environmental Protection. As part of the oversight, they were going to hire 2 consultants. One is to do a TMF assessment of the utility, as well as a 360 assessment of the utility. What are these? They are going to question each and every one of the employees in Trenton Water Works about what they do, and they have to know their process. They have to know their jobs. They have to know what their responsibilities are. And if they're not, it's going to expose us as well as this utility. It's going to expose me. So what I've been doing, I've been preparing employees throughout. I have frequent meetings with the DEP. We meet every week, sometimes 3 times a week. And they have questions, and I have to have the answers. So far, we've been doing excellent. So, for me, some employees are not happy. Yes, I understand. But there is opportunities to have overtime, but it must be right. I have to account for it, and all I ask of my unit managers is to send me an email informing me of this overtime. Like I said, I've never denied any so far, but I just have to provide a justification for any and all overtime. Another part of this TMF assessment, I have to show how our money is spent. I have to account for every penny that is spent. They want to know, and I have to have the answers. And I intend, as long as I'm the director, to have those answers for them. I'm fully transparent. I have nothing to hide. I have an open door policy. Not one person has come to me, I've told them that I'm not talking to you. I try to explain to the best of my ability whatever question that comes my way. So, the 360 is totally financial. They look at all the finances. They want to know everything that we've done financially over the years. So, in my heart of hearts, I'm trying to protect the utility and I'm trying to protect the employees. I know some of them didn't take me seriously, but the time has come. They're here. That evaluation has started. And I just have to prepare my people for this process when it comes along. They're going to question them. We are embarking on a huge project, a 19-year project that was supposed to be done 19 years ago, the decommissioning of that reservoir. Here again, we're taking this fight up. And we're going to get this done. We've started, we've demoed the building that was on that site, and we get to start to build tanks on there. We also purchased 2 remote sites, on which we have to put 2 remote tanks because we must have a surplus of water should our plant go down. If we don't, that's a problem. So, with that being said, I don't think I have anything much to say. I can take any questions that you want to throw my way right now, and I'll be glad to answer.
President? Councilwoman
I
Thomas.
just have a quick question. You said we purchased 2 remote sites. Where are those?
One is in Hamilton Township, is the Elks, and one is in Ewing, it's called Restec. That one is still in process, but the Elks site, you guys approve it in here, right in City Council. Crestec.
Crestec.
Crestec. Yes.
C-R-E-S-T, Tech?
Yes. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
C-R-E-S, Crest Tech.
Yes.
Thank you, sir.
Madam President,
Councilwoman Edwards.
thank you.
You're welcome.
Can you elaborate more on your succession plan with your employees in terms of training them so that they are being promoted internally? And furthermore, can you elaborate on whether or not you're having staff meetings weekly, bi-weekly to improve on the efficiency of your department?
Happy to respond to that. I have 5 units within the utility. On Mondays, I meet with the engineering unit. On Tuesdays, I have the DEP meetings, but that's, you meant internal stuff. On Wednesdays, we have called some compliance meetings where any response to the DEP, all the unit leaders get together and they supply all the information we need to submit to the Department of Environmental Protection. On Thursdays, I have a meeting with the combine, our meter unit, and our customer service unit. Because those units have to work hand in hand, especially with the new project coming on board, they have to work. We have a consultant, that's another project that you guys approve for the smart meters. Those 2 units must work hand in hand. And so we meet and we discuss the strategy, we discuss this training, there's a new application. We go through that on a weekly basis. Every Thursday, we have those meetings, trainings. We have to submit a standard operating procedure to the DEP for every application within the utility. And we have to prove that we are training, is documented, that each and every employee must be trained. Now, we haven't started all the training yet because those standard operating procedures has to be approved by the Department of Environmental Protection. The ones that we receive approval on, we have started to schedule training for them. I hope I answer all the questions.
Yes, you have, but not to the fullest extent. There have been a lot of constituents that have come to us in our council meetings to complain about the quality of customer service and the poor quality of our online services in terms of how they're viewing your bills and how confusing that may be. I touched on that with you in our budget meetings as well. So I wanted to know if that was addressed, but also customer service trainings, not just having the meetings with these different departments, but the trainings, the ethics, the workplace rights and responsibilities to work on the morale of the department. Have you given that any thought since our last conversation?
Yes, we have. As part of the oversight, we took our leaders of customer service and billing on a field trip to Passaic Valley Utility to help us out in that aspect. I'm not an expert in customer service and billing, but we are reaching out to people who have expertise in this. And these guys came back with a couple of recommendations. Some of them I had to dismiss instantly because I'm not gonna outsource our meter reading. That's not my intention, this is not our intention. But we are gonna start, I'm working on staffing up first. What has happened in that utility? Over the years, we had a lot of civil service search that was not being closed out. And I found that out because that is preventing us from hiring people. So we're trying to get people on board before we start that training process in the meter reader aspect of it. We are also going to introduce something called, we have a new system. We just upgraded our Impreza system, which is our billing system. We just had it upgraded. And that is something that you guys approved on. And we've had training for the use of this product. I brought a professional from this company, Harris, to come and do some training. They were here to do testing first, and the guy was here to do a lot of training. I taught that much well because I've heard that people who use the system, they love it. They say they learn things to do their system better. They learn to do billing much better. So we're going to continue to train people. That's guaranteed. Like I said, my focus is to build up people up. But they have to want this also, and this is why I'm encouraging them. There's a lot of encouragement going on in my life. I do encourage my utility managers. Yes. Another thing I've been doing is we have a lot of absenteeism that I'm doing a lot of disciplinary action for. I'm disciplining people because of absenteeism. Another thing that's going to cause exposure when this TMF comes around our way, because they want to see people's record. They want to make sure people are coming to work. They want to make people make sure that they know their jobs. But yes, it's going slowly, but it's going. And I'm going to make sure it's going to be right. We also are going to bring back a software called FieldHawk, because there are a lot of human errors are being made. You know, we're humans. We flip numbers, turn them backwards sometimes when we're entering certain numbers. We're going to alleviate that because FieldHawk is a system where that information is going to go directly from the field directly into the billing system. Thank you.
Any other questions?
Madam President?
Madam Vice President?
Thank you. Good evening. Oh, is it like?
No, sorry.
Sorry about that.
It's all right.
So before I begin, I just want to say thank you to the mayor. Is he still here?
Yes.
Thank you for being here, and to everybody from Trenton Waterworks for coming out tonight. I just want to clear something up real quick before I begin with my questions. The reason why you received word to appear was because when we have docket review process, right? And I know I don't have to explain all of this, but I need to give context so that everyone understands exactly what happened, and we're not going on hearsay or emotions or anything. We are going on fact. So we have docket review. I was not present. I list my questions as I normally do about things that I wanted to know as it pertained to certain resolution items on the docket. When it came to water and it came to you, initially it was presented that you would either be the acting director or the director. So my first question was, well, which one is it? What are we doing? I then went in to ask other questions about the water utility. You know, I worked there for close to 2 years. I have questions. I've done work with Raphael, God rest his soul. And there were different things that were wrong then and certain things that do need to be fixed now as we know it to be true. So I had my questions, I asked questions. The administration answered every question except for the questions that I had about water. And when I asked why, I was told because this is personnel. I was like, most of it was just generic questions about water. There were 3 questions that asked about you specifically, which would require a notice to be sent. So when they said it was personnel, I said, well, do I have to ask for a rights notice? I was told by administration, by legal, yes, you do. So it's nothing personal about you. I'm a business person. I can separate the business from the personal. And so as I ask the questions as it pertains to Trenton, the only thing personal for me is the commitment that I made to the constituents in the city of Trenton, that I would do my best to make sure that we are at our best in whatever capacity we perform. Hence my questions about Trenton Waterworks. And it is very important to me, as well as others, that whoever leads the charge in this water utility be right and prepared for the challenge to take us before someone else comes and takes it. And we do not want that. And I don't believe you want that either. Okay? So I just wanted to explain the whole purpose of how we got here. It wasn't because when I came to get the chicken wings and the macaroni salad and the baked beans, somebody said something to make me. I had questions already, and so we begin. When it comes to oversight and billing and things of that nature, right, and how we build complexes and buildings, right? There was a situation as it pertains to Ewing Town Center. I have on the dais for my colleagues, you'll see the memo of understanding, the packets were made for you about the memo of understanding as it pertains to Ewing Town Center. While I understand that this was under, this happened, all these questions happened November 9th, 2021, they're under a different director, but given the case and the nature of this, being the director, I'm just asking what we're doing in this case and in cases like this so it doesn't happen again. In an email it says, good afternoon, it appears that Trenton Waterworks agreed with the developers of Ewing Town Center for a rate that our system cannot build. Also, the arrangement is a significant loss of revenue for Trenton Waterworks. Please help me understand how this agreement came about. The rate, which must be approved by City Council, does not exist. As we look at billing for this Ewing Town Center, and this I will pass down for you all to see because you don't have it, they haven't made any payments to date, but have been charged because of the memo of understanding that has been put together in which it was done incorrectly, in which there was some confusion, in which something wasn't billed right or they're waiting on this understanding. Can you please speak to that and what we're going to do to rectify it?
Okay. Council Vice President,
Thank you.
I have the same concern as you about that MOU that is done. This is something that I have to meet with our law director and see how we could reverse it, how we could fix it, but I was upset. I want to collect the money for the utility. I do. That and many other entities that owes us a lot of money. But this is something that I don't know the legality of it, and one of my objectives is to turn it over to law.
And so to understand too, the emails that I'm referring to are emails from when I was employed at Trenton Waterworks. These are things that I had that were sent to me, to my City of Trenton email. So these are things that I have been looking at and keeping an eye on and wondering what are we doing to help make it better. All right, so when it comes to, so we're gonna turn it over to legal is what you're saying. However, what is the plan for as you move forward so that something like whatever this is doesn't happen again when it comes to negotiations of water with complexes, with town centers, and things like that? Because again, as the email said, this is going to cause significant loss to Trenton Waterworks. So we're missing out on money from this building as well as others because we don't have proper protocol in place. What are you doing to make sure that this doesn't happen again? I'm asking nicely. What are you doing to make sure? I'm sorry, I get serious, y'all. Y'all like, oh God, no, it ain't like that. I'm just, I'm gonna teach you too. But so what are we doing?
So my take on this whole situation. I disagree with putting a master meter in the Ewington Center in the first place. It should have been individually metered so we could build the individual. And that's the first thing I've stopped. We're not doing any more project with master meters. We're not going that route. So that's one aspect. I don't think we'll have to worry about large bills like this. But the ones that we have in place right now, like I said, most of these things are legal matters that I have to get reversed, or if I'm allowed to. I consult, just this week, myself and Mr. Director Bridges had a consultation about the lease we signed for the remote tank. I seek advice on anything. I know that's legal, that some things that the mayor should be signing, something that laws, will consult with them before I sign off on any major thing. So you won't have to worry about me signing off, making an agreement of such, without going through the right process.
I just want it fixed so we can get our money.
I'm gonna work on that. I'm gonna work on that. I need the money too.
Right. Okay. So when it comes to billing, right?
Yes.
And again, I have my chart from when I worked at Trenton Waterworks in the billing department. Everybody is on a cycle. I know my cycle is 614 because I'm out West Trenton on the island, so my cycle is 614, right? On our listing that we have, the bill date indicates the day that the bill would be sent to the customer. So my bill date for 614 is September 1st, 2023. It's October 3rd, I still haven't received a bill. Also, people that I know out Ewing haven't received bills either. I don't know if you'll be able to speak off the top of your head about cycle 732 or 733, if those bills have been sent, but my overall question is, why are the bills not being sent? The amounts are on the system, because I call, how much do I owe? Did y'all look? Is it actual? Don't estimate my bill. Yes, but where are the physical bills? People are writing and posting and emailing and commenting. What is the problem with the bills, please?
We have some issues that I'm trying to straighten out with the billing agency, the people who do the mailing, the postage and mailing.
I actually sat in on the RFP process to actually select who does the billing. So I guess the question is, are we paying the bill? Why would they not? What's the problem?
We are not happy with that billing agency. So we just did a resolution to change them, and they're not happy. So them being spiteful that we did not extend our billing cycle for an additional year with them, which we're not happy with them, which is a choice that we had to make. We went the route of, we rebid it, and I'm waiting for the resolution to come before City Council.
But are we still in the contract with the other company? Were we still in the
No,
contract?
because we did not renew it for the second year.
So we don't have a contract. So we let the contract lapse because you didn't want to use them anymore, and so people aren't getting their bills to pay on time.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. All right.
Next question. 530 US Highway 130. That's a courtyard by Marriott Hotel. Not the one at Town Center, it's a little further down. They opened July 9th, 2021. I called them and had a conversation. There's some questions, and again, this goes back to what I said about Ewing Town Center and about what are we doing when we're making these agreements and putting in these meters. I understand from working in the different meter sizes and stuff, and turbo inch units and 4-inch and all that stuff. It opened on 7/9/2021. The first meter, there was a meter added 2/24/2022. Then there was a change out 5/4/2023. The first bill went out January 2023. It was an actual reading. And then something else happened on 4/17. It was an estimated reading. There was supposed to be an investigation, and again, these are emails that I have from before when I worked at Trenton Waterworks.
There was supposed to be an investigation to see if there was a fire line at that location. Now, I am not an expert on that part of it, but when I spoke to the hotel, I asked, I said, well, do you have the sprinklers and stuff in the hotel? The man said, yes, we have sprinklers in the rooms. I am not sure if that would warrant a fire line location, but I would like to know, what is the status even with this? Because if they have the fire line, we're not billing for the fire line. Again, we're losing money with Trenton Water Works. Can you speak to any of this?
This is the first time I'm hearing about this. If it was brought to my attention, I would have made sure it would have been addressed.
So to that point, Mr. Simple, when it comes to sitting down and having conversations with staff, when it comes to having conversations with those who are in management that work for you, would you sit and ask them for outstanding issues? This is an outstanding issue that a supervisor mentioned, that it went back and forth between two people about this issue to be on top of, because if this is the case, then we run into the possibility of this continuing to happen. So as far as Councilwoman Edwards, when she said, are you meeting with staff? Did you have a key meeting with anyone to talk about what are outstanding concerns or issues that we need to look into? What are the red flags?
So like I said, I have not heard of this case. If it was brought to me, I would have made sure it was addressed. We have addressed a lot of different issues during the course of the day. This is the first time I'm hearing about this.
Okay.
And if a unit manager doesn't bring it to me, I would not know unless I hear from you. If you had sent it to the mayor's office to come to me, I'm sure it would have been addressed.
I'm almost done, Madam President. I'm sorry. Let's see. So on January 10th, 2022, well, I forwarded to you, I sent it to you on Friday, December 16th, 2022. There's an email where I forwarded to you a few items that I want to bring to your attention and remind since my initial start at Trenton Water Works, right? And on that, I gave cues about where certain money shouldn't be placed in accounts and things, and when we receive money, what should be done. Give me 1 second. One of them was inventory counts should be taken of all items on site and kept in a central database. Perpetual inventory counts should be taken regularly to ensure that the equipment is properly accounted for, and there should be a database maintained indicating the equipment serial number, description, date acquired, cost, location of storage, and the date and location of placement when installed at a customer site. Do we have a perpetual inventory system happening with our meters and our equipment?
With our meters, we have an inventory program that we're going to place with the new smart meters.
Do you have inventory now? Have you been taking inventory of the meters? Do you know what you have on site now?
Yes.
You do? You have a listing of it? Somebody say yes?
I have folks in the meter shop behind me who could intimately answer these questions, because, I mean, these are individual questions that I'm not going to have the answer right here and now for you. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Aqua water. Explain to me, are you familiar with aqua water?
Yes, I am.
Can you tell us their relationship with Trenton Water Works and how we deal with them?
We sell them bulk water.
We sell them bulk water.
Yes.
And what do they do with the bulk water that we sell to them?
They distribute it within their system.
They distribute it, okay. So when it comes to, so basically, are we bill them for usage?
Yes.
Okay. In looking at a ledger that I had from there, this is as of December 16, 2022, right? It seems like there were different questions or about the billing and stuff, because at one time before then they were being billed $28,777.60. Then all of a sudden there were payments and adjustments, and now it's like low numbers, $244 and everything. Do we have a grip on what's happening with this account?
You know, ACO just came up in our meeting today,
Okay.
and we're going to meet with them, and we're going to finalize how we're gonna read their meters weekly as opposed to by cycle, so that we could build them more accurately than we have been in the past.
Last thing, when it comes to estimated readings, right? That was always a pet peeve of mine. The estimated readings, how we do that. What are we doing to make sure that we are having more actual readings done rather than piling up estimates, which will result in possibly more credits being issued or under bills, over bills? What are you doing about that?
Okay, I could respond to that. So, I've explained to you the civil service situation where we're not able to hire people, fill vacancies until they get a surplus fixed. So what I've done, I've reached out to our recreation department, and we've got 3 meter readers, supposed to be 4, on site that we're training to help us read our meters on a frequent basis. So that's what I'm doing. I'm fixing that, so we shouldn't have estimated reading unless the device is not working, the reading devices.
The meetings that you have with DEP, and we haven't had any mayor report yet or anything like that, are they giving you any written feedback on anything, any suggestions or anything that needs to be done that could be forwarded to council so that we could see what they're saying?
That we might have to go through the DEP if they want to release that information. But we have ongoing production meetings every week, Tuesdays. And they highlight whatever they want us to look at or whatever areas they're going to be taking, and we just go along. We work hand in hand. There's a partnership we're working with them, and it's been very helpful to us.
If somebody wants to jump in, I'm just, I think.
No, is that it, Madam President? Yeah,
No, I love the question. I sure do, but I just wanted to share the...
Councilwoman Williams.
Thank you very much.
Sorry, Councilwoman Williams.
Do you need to rest? Yeah, okay.
No, I'm good.
I'm really appreciative of you doing this and here for us this week. I'm also appreciative of my colleagues' great questions, because these are issues that we hear quite frequently. And you know, some things out here are myth, and some things are truth, and some things are just personal experiences. And so I do have a bunch of questions. One thing I want to say, to echo my colleague, Councilwoman Edwards specifically, is customer service. I know I sent you an email last week specifically about one situation, but there seems to be a lack of customer service attitude and looking at, not from everyone certainly, but it seems to be consistent with a few different employees potentially, that looking at Trenton residents or Trenton customers, they're not looked upon as valued, they're looked upon as numbers writing a check. And I would very much like to see going forward, as I'm sure everyone would, that anyone who's a customer of Trenton, particularly our own citizens, would be treated great on the phone, no matter what the outcome of the situation, would be treated respectfully.
I can assure you I'll work on that and make sure that you have a better report moving forward on our customer service unit.
Okay, I would love to send you less emails about it for sure, if you'd like to not get them. Thank you. So I have some some specific questions, some broad questions. So my first question is, and I say this as someone along with Councilman Harrison, back in 2010, we were part of the group that got all the petitions signed to save the Trenton Waterworks. And I like what the mayor said about keeping the T in Trenton Waterworks. That is important. None of us want to sell that. We don't want to lose it. But going forward from the improvements that have been made, this council has approved many expenditures to help with this. Do you think we're past the boil water advisory at this point? Unless it's something like we have a hurricane, that kind of thing.
Yeah, boil water advisors is an event situation, and that you cannot predict. But we have the talent at our filtration plant to make sure that that doesn't happen. We have a SCADA system. We just added a remote access where our licensed operator will be able to monitor from our home what's going on at the plant. That's one of the things that we've just added to our system.
So has that been an upgrade since you were acting director?
Yes.
Because the other question that always comes up is sometimes, particularly it seems more on weekends, just by observation, that people notice colored water or water has a funky taste to it. So, and I know that can depend on when certain chemicals are put in place, etc. So, in the future, do you think we'll have much more consistent quality of water?
That's our goal. That's our goal. We have the low velocity flushing system is to make sure we maintain chlorine levels throughout our systems. And to add, and one of the things we're going to do, starting in December, we have a lot of dead-end mains in our system. We are adding flushes. We have a contract, you approved it also, to install up to 170 flushes in our system. What that does, when we have school closed, the water is stagnant. We have to make sure this water is moving to maintain the health and the chlorine levels. So you're going to be seeing, I know some of you are already seeing flushes at hydrants. People ask questions why they have to be running this water. It's for health purposes. It's to maintain the chlorine residual throughout our system.
Okay, so then in coming years, are we also past any Legionella situations?
Not recently. We're, knock on wood, we're in good shape.
Knock on wood.
I'll be knock on wood.
So what do you believe will be your greatest challenge as director if you receive a full appointment tonight?
What am I?
What will be your greatest challenge as director if you move from interim to full director?
I would like the support of the council. We have many projects that come your way, and I'm ready to explain each and every project that you approve or anything that we put before you. I want to save the utility just like you. I was signed that petition back then, so I don't want to see it go to anybody else. The mayor doesn't want to see it go to anybody else. And I would welcome, I know you can't come together one at a time, let's go through the process. We could organize visits for you to come and see our process and how equipped we are and where we are from previous years. We have a GIS system that is the brain trust of the entire utility. Right now, we can monitor our hydrant inspections from our central station. If a hydrant is down, when we in our inspection process, we have all that documentation. I mean, we're going in the right direction.
Do we currently have any pipes made of wood from the olden days?
Yes, we do, but it's in my office upstairs at Portland Street.
So as far as I know some folks are giggling, but those are from the 1800s, and some cities actually do still have them.
We have them.
These newer cast that are made of wood before they went to lead. Okay, so we have none out in the streets.
No, you can stop by and see it though.
Okay,
It's my office.
I'll take your word for it.
Yeah.
I'll take your word for it. So how many employees do we currently have, and what positions do you want to hire for?
Well, I have 165 employees on the water side, and I must be remiss that we been leaving out the sewer end of things, because I'm the director of water and sewer. And we have 65 in our sewer utility. And that we're going to be doing some upgrades in that facility also.
So as far as positions you want to hire for, I understand lower level positions, there are many varied, but as far as middle management and more senior management, what positions would you want to hire for if you could?
I would like to get a few more engineers on board. I would like to elevate some people within the technician status, which is we call it a water repair 2 status, to help in our distribution system. And our sewer side of things, we have operator positions that we have vacancies that is very hard. So what I'm doing as part of our training process, I have an experienced equipment operator at water. I'm trying to start a training process where we could train people to do operation, to operate heavy equipment.
Are those type of positions hard to fill?
Yes. Yes, they are. Most of them that we have on board is people who came and learned on the job. And that's what I want to continue doing.
Thank you. You mentioned TMF assessment, the utility. What does that acronym mean, TMF?
Technical, managerial, and financial assessment of our utility.
Thank you. Is there another city that has a water system that you would like Trenton to model for success?
Certain parts of it, Passaic Valley, they're awesome for the things that we've learned from them. But other than that, I think they can learn some things from us too.
Okay. I like the positive. And finally, do you, and this is a hard question to ask, but what training have we had for our waterworks and sewer employees on sexual harassment, discrimination, things that would bring upon lawsuits to the city of Trenton?
I think the city had general training on sexual harassment here, I think over a couple of years ago. I'm not sure.
So it was in 2022?
Yeah, I've been to it.
Okay. All right. And what measures do you think need to happen to make sure that's mitigated or lessened in the future, and we take out that chance of possibly happening?
I have to put more pressure on our managers to maintain the quorum of their employees. I do put a lot of pressure on our unit managers, in discipline and how people work is get done. And like I said, I do put a lot of pressure on them.
Any more pressure you can put on and work that down to everyone on the staff would be appreciated.
Sure, I will definitely look into that.
All right. I'll just close with, I just want to thank all our Trenton Waterworks workers for coming tonight. Please do come back to other meetings also, but I know you're working hard to try to change the name of our system, what the public in the central New Jersey area thinks about us, and it's important because the only way we're going to keep our system is by having the best system possible. So, and you're a great part of that. And I appreciate your answering all the questions that we had tonight for you, because these questions come from our brains, but as well as our heart. And we just wish everyone great success.
Thank you.
Mr. Senebal, what I love about you, man, you're a straight shooter. You talk from your heart. You're always got a smile on your face. You're looking out for your employees. You don't want to outsource, which your team train all day, every day. That's what I like about you. And I know you're getting the job done, man. I can see it in you, and you've got that will and that ability to get the job done. Your staff sees it. When I look at their faces, they believe in you. And if they believe in you, I'll believe in you.
And I believe in them too.
Thank you.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Thank you for joining us this evening.
Thanks.
First question, have you completed your sexual harassment training?
Sexual harassment training.
That would be a no, so please
Right.
inquire.
I'm writing it down right now.
Thank you. So where are we with the lead pipe program, the water pipes?
Okay, we have like a $5.5 million grant from the federal government that we're about to put out a RFP for the engineering services. This program is specific to Trenton. It's only for Trenton residents. And we plan to install 750 lead line services in the city of Trenton.
How many have we already replaced though from the homes to the street to the homes?
9,601.
And how many more do we have?
Oh, we have about 18,000 still to go.
And what is that time frame for the 9,601?
I think by 2032, according to DEP, we have to have it all done.
no.
But it depends.
No, the timeframe that the 9,601 have been replaced approximately.
We started in 2001, I think we started.
2001?
Yes.
We started construction in February of 2021.
2021, okay, yeah, you thought that was
2021, I'm sorry, I said 2001.
Yeah.
2021.
Okay.
Sorry. I'm sorry.
You don't want to back that up.
I know.
Okay, so you guys are working on a $5.5 million grant to continue this work throughout the city of Trenton. And what is that trajectory to get these lead pipes fixed from the street to the homes?
2032.
2032, okay, so another 10 years, okay. And as far as the, what it costs homeowners to replace the pipes inside their homes, I know it was $1,000 at some point. Is that still the price?
We have not built not one homeowner
No, built.
since we've started the program.
No, from the pipes inside the home.
Oh, I couldn't tell you. We do not do inside homes, so I couldn't.
Okay, so it's not with the Trenton Waterworks, okay.
Yes.
Yeah, because it was $1,000 that Trenton Waterworks was asking for the
That was
pipes
from-
inside the home.
That's from the curb.
Not inside, oh, and that was outside before, okay.
Yes.
Oh, thank you, okay, all right. But now there's no charge at all.
No.
All right. And is there any specific eligibility, or is it just kind of random where we're going and where we're working and, you know, what houses are going to be targeted?
So we put together an inventory sheet, and when we are doing the meter install program, that will help us greatly with our inventory because we have records of what is in the street from the main to the curb. We have those records. What we don't have and never kept record is from the curb to the house. That is always a homeowner's responsibility. So we're not 100% sure of the material that people have on their homes unless they let us in their homes to do an inspection. So we're going to take advantage of our smart meter program where we have to go in-house, that we will record the type of material that is coming in to their property, and that will help us moving forward.
The other question, I don't know if you can answer this or not, but it's come up. I know that there is an onslaught of like pottery being dug up in some of our streets, you know, from decades past, that is affecting some of our water lines and, you know, putting lead into our water lines. Have you been in contact? Have you had conversations? Have there been any types of meetings regarding this and, you know, how we're going to move forward? Because there are organizations within the city that are working to remove this lead from our lines, and it is concentrated particularly in parts of the North Ward where, you know, pottery was buried in the streets decades past. So have you had any conversations or any?
I have not heard
Anything with EPA?
about that. But if it should affect any water lines, it is?
Yes.
I'm not aware of that because water mains are.
There's studies being done on how it's affecting our children. The children are being tested. People are being tested for how the pottery and it is affecting our water lines. Mr. Gasson?
Sorry. Madam President, we've actually had a meeting with EPA and DEP this week. They have not disclosed anything of leaking into waterworks, but it's more in the soil of the North Ward. And we're in discussions about a long-term remedy of excavating dirt around residential houses. But no discussion whatsoever on actually infiltrating into Trenton Waterworks lines.
Thank you, Mayor. Okay, that's all the questions I have. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Councilwoman.
Madam President,
Councilwoman Edwards.
I just wanted to finish mine. I wanted to give everyone an opportunity before circling back. Thank you. So, on that subject, I'll stay on the lead lines. In the pamphlet that you made available to the public, and thank you for this, by the way, it says that the lead line replacement is a $50 million capital project. Can you elaborate on how much funds we've received for this project and what the balance of that is?
Most of our lead project was done by the IBAC grant loans, the past. This is the first grant we received from the federal government, the 5.5 million, to do any lead line program. This is something that was applied for, and I'm hoping that we can apply for next set of grant money moving forward. We cannot depend on that because the deadline is, it'll be coming fast. We have to do a certain amount each and every year. We have to, fulfill a certain quota, or else we'll have some violations.
I would strongly advise you to speak with Newark and learn about how they replaced their entire city's lead service lines in a matter of 2 years. 2 years. I believe it was Jersey City as well, it might have been Jersey City. But I would encourage you to reach out to other urban communities that are suffering from the same plight as us and work with them on determining a much shorter timeline and how they had gained access to the funds that they needed. Their cities are multitudes of the amount of our city, this 7.5 square miles. So I would just strongly suggest that because we need to be aggressive with replacing these lead lines.
I do have people and staff who's work on the Newark system, and I could surely make it a task for them to do some investigation.
This needs to be a priority for our city. Lead has been poisoning our community for decades.
Madam President, I just want to address the question from the councilwoman. Trenton Waterworks have more accounts than Newark does. Newark, yes, has a larger population, but they have half of the accounts that we do. So that is why they finished it on if you want to call it a record time. And also they had funding that just poured into the city. Being the largest city in the state of New Jersey, they were able to get money from the county as well as grants from the feds. But they do have half of the accounts.
And you bring up a very perfect point. Our county does not do enough for our capital city, neither does our state and the federal government. So I would suggest that we tap into these shared services because each one of those entities have properties here that they do not pay their fair share of taxes on because they're exempt. So they owe us, and this is a project that should be definitely expedited. So I just wanted to say that.
I was just informed that the county actually pumped in $125 million into it.
Thank you, Mr. Purcell.
Okay. Furthermore, the record keeping of the lead pipes. I own 3 properties in Trenton, and Trenton Waterworks did come inside each one of them to check to see whether my pipes were lead or not from my house to the curb, and they weren't. Thankfully, I did not have to incur that expense. But I want to encourage you, if you haven't been, to keep records of that because there's no reason why you shouldn't have those records as well. I understand the curb to the street is the city's responsibility, it's Trenton Waterworks' responsibility, but if we're getting ahead of our environmental issues to stop lead lines, that also needs to be kept a track of too.
So the properties that we were able to get access to, that is part of our records. But remember, we have 63,000 meters out there, properties that we feed. So some places we're not able to go to. And maybe the reason why they came into your property is because they were on your street replacing lead line programs, and they would knock on doors and hopefully some people would let them in. But we're not fortunate in all areas. But like I said, this smart meter program will give us more information as to what's going on in people's homes.
Okay. Well, the job is endless.
It is.
It is. So I would just suggest that you keep trying. I was home at the time when they were going door to door and marked my streets, but they have not been replaced yet. So I wanted to touch on, before we close out, and not to be funny, but we need Chick-fil-A service here, customer service level. I don't know if anyone if you have experience with Chick-fil-A, you go there on any given day and receive impeccable customer service. Our residents of this city are customers of Trenton Waterworks. They deserve impeccable customer service. No one should be calling, and I will say without saying names, that the complaints that we received were from multiple people that are sitting here and supporting you, that have given nasty service to constituents, to the residents of Trenton. So I just wanted to touch on that because, you know, Councilwoman Williams did touch on that, but I just needed to elaborate more. And as you hold your department accountable, please hold your friends accountable as well. So, and I'm not insinuating that you don't do that, because I have heard that you have cracked down on people that you would consider friends. But I wanted to move on from that to say that each of your units, you mentioned your unit managers, for them, if they already aren't doing that, if you haven't implemented it yet, I understand you're meeting with your managers, but are they meeting with their employees under their unit on a twice per week or at least once per week basis? Because the efficiency of customer service is built upon communication from within, and then that is put out into the world. So in order to even have a great customer service, you have to train your employees and you need consistency. So have you implemented those meetings?
Like I said, I press my unit managers, and we have training that's going to be taking place throughout. And if customer service and the way they treat the constituency is not acceptable, we will deal with that. We have a process whereby we discipline people. And I do have some supervisors using their pens. I do have that. And customer service.
So being that we don't have a personnel director, who are they reporting to when issues arise within your department?
Right now, I'm trying to do it all. We don't have a personnel director, yes, that's true. So.
Okay. Well, thank you. I really hope that you take a lot of these things into consideration as you continue your director position. And you've given us a lot to think about. I'm not sure if we're voting tonight or not, but thank you for your time and your attention on this matter.
Thank you.
So I want to say thank you, council members. We want to move this along. Director Semple, we have appreciated your time. Mayor, appreciate you. And to all of you who have been out here this evening, we are appreciative of your time. I do understand there's one more question.
Because this came from a constituent at last 7 meetings. Is it possible for a customer of Trenton Waterworks to not accept a Bluetooth reader and maintain their whole system?
You talk about a smart meter that we
Yeah, smart meter. Do they have the option not to have a smart meter in their home?
Yes, I would say yes right now. We haven't started the program as yet, but we haven't thought about that part. But it will affect our billing process. That means I have to start stocking. My goal is to replace all the meters eventually. And if we have to send that meter reader out to stop, to go to one person's house, it will slow down the process. We want to be efficient moving forward. With this new system, they'll be driving down the street and taking the readings as we go. Right now, we walk in the routes. So we haven't really delved into how we're going to handle such a situation, but I'm sure we could address it.
We did have a person come to council last meeting and mention that. Thank you. Thank you, Council President.
Thank you. So, Mrs. Temple, you've addressed, I had a list, my colleagues. Which one we're talking about? I didn't know they were coming up, but you have addressed it, and I appreciate your transparency in coming out here this evening, and I don't want to prolong the time, but I do appreciate you coming out. I appreciate, again, as I was saying, everyone who came out here this evening to show support one way or the other. With that, we're done with the Q&A, and we appreciate you. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Garcia.
Excuse me, yes, Madam President. According to the mayor, it's my understanding that he is asking for a vote this evening for Mr. Semple. Is that correct, ma'am?
That's how we operate.
Yeah, absolutely.
Understood.
Is there a reason, council, are we could not, after the deliberation that we just had?
Madam President?
Yes, ma'am.
I would like to suggest just time to think about the information that we just received by Mr. Semple, in order to vote on Thursday. That's my opinion.
Okay. The consensus is we'll vote on Thursday.
Consensus to vote on Thursday?
But wait, let's, we poll council to see if they want to vote on this evening, or we're going to vote if they prefer to vote on Thursday.
Can I have a,
And I have a motion to,
Second.
it's been moved and seconded, all the board? This is for a vote Thursday, is that correct?
if we want to vote on Thursday, yes for Thursday, and if the vote is nay, then it means the vote this evening.
So this is a motion to delay this vote until Thursday,
Correct.
correct?
Council President, if I may.
Yes, Mr. Price.
I think the natural order would be for the votes to take place on Thursday, so there's really not a need to poll to do that. I think what the question was based on past precedent was that the vote be on today, the same day as the presentation. So in that instance, you would take a poll to make a decision whether or not to have that vote take place today.
So then, Mr. Solicitor, we can simply ask for a roll call or consent when I come to that resolution, correct?
Yes.
Correct.
Understood.
For today.
Again, I think the request was to have that vote today.
Okay, so motion, am I entertaining the motion, holding the board for a vote today or no?
Yes.
That's correct.
Understood.
So for clarification, we're voting on yes, we're going to vote today, or no, we're not going to vote today.
So the motion is for yes to vote today. Councilwoman Edwards?
Just to vote today.
That's right. Vote today.
No.
Noted. Councilwoman Feliciano?
Yes.
Councilwoman Figueroa Gettler?
No.
Councilwoman Gonzalez?
Yes.
Councilman Harrison?
Yes.
Councilwoman Williams?
Yes.
Yes.
That is to vote today.
That's correct.
That being said, without further ado, shall I go to that resolution and ask for that vote?
Yes.
Yes, please.
Sir. Resolution 23-442, resolution consenting to the appointment of Sean Semple as Sean Semple as Director of the Department of Water and Sewer for the City of Trenton. Madam President, if you want to ask for a motion to approve that resolution?
May I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and second. I'll poll the board. Councilwoman Edwards.
Yes.
Councilwoman Feliciano. Excuse me. Shall I move on?
No, we're gonna,
Okay.
wait.
No problem.
Yes.
Councilwoman Figueroa Gettleberg.
With all due respect, since I requested time, I want to abstain.
Noted. Councilwoman Gonzalez.
Yes. Excuse me, could you just hold off on that, please? Thank you.
Councilman Harrison.
Yes.
Councilwoman Williams.
Yes.
And Council President Frisbee.
Yes. Thank you.
On your call, Madam President.
Let's proceed.
Certainly. Madam President, we don't have any professionals present for executive sessions, so if it's okay with you, we can move that to last on the agenda.
Yes, sir.
Excuse me, Council President.
Yes, Councilman Williams.
So we foregoing presentations.
Do we have presentations for this evening? Yes, we're doing presentations,
My
yes.
understanding, we were going to go through those at the time of their resolution, corresponding resolutions, is that correct?
Yes.
Noted, thank you.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, moving into new business, or moving into old business. We have minutes for approval, communications and petitions to be read, moving on to ordinances for second reading, ordinance 23-057, and ordinance amending and supplementing Trenton Municipal Section A316, Rules of Council. There will be a roll call.
But right now, we should be doing presentations, is that correct?
Are we?
Yes. we
It
should
was
be
my
doing-
question, so we're going to have all presentations first? Noted.
Yeah, presentation and recognitions should be next. That's what we have here on our agenda. But that is the order.
If that's the case, then I would ask for whatever corresponding, or what the next presentation would be. We have the advice and consent, Mr. Supple, which was done. And I understand there's a presentation regarding one of the resolutions, is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. So the presentation then regarding Resolution 23-428, resolution authorizing the appropriation of $1 million from the funds allocated to the City of Trenton under the American Rescue Plan Act of 2021 to the Novella Center for Entrepreneurship, is that correct? Would that be a presentation? Yes. Okay, then without further ado, I will call the individual presenter up.
Thank you. Madam President, Madam Vice President, members of the council, Mr. Clerk, Mr. Mayor, and importantly, citizens of Trenton. Thank you for allowing me to speak with you today. My presentation will be brief, but of course, happy to take questions at the end. I think you'll wait until everyone has a copy, although it's up on the screen as well. My name is Jeff Cherry. I am the founder and executive director of an organization called the Novella Center for Entrepreneurship. That organization is a 501c3 business accelerator founded in Baltimore, Maryland. I'm also the managing partner of a venture capital fund, Conscious Venture Partners. Those two organizations are connected, and we'll talk a little bit more about how that happens during the presentation. We believe that businesses that focus on creating value for all of their stakeholders, employees, employees, suppliers, communities, customers, the environment. As opposed to those businesses that focus on myopically creating value for shareholders, we'll be the winning businesses of the future. We call it stakeholder value as opposed to shareholder myopia. And I've been working on this idea for about 17 or 18 years. I was fortunate enough to work on 2 books on this idea, a book called Firms of Endearment, which I was a consultant on, another book called Conscious Capitalism. And this is a foundational tenet of what we do in the entrepreneurship world. My organization and me personally as well, we exist to create a more just, joyous, and equitable society for as many people as possible. And we do that by helping startup founders, particularly startup founders who have been ignored by others for all the wrong reasons, connect to knowledge, networks, and capital. I've spent the last 10 years building a more inclusive and diverse entrepreneurship ecosystem. As I said, we started in Baltimore. I actually moved from New York City to Baltimore because some of the leaders there got wind of what we were doing and requested to meet with us, and we ended up establishing the Conscious Venture Lab, which was a predecessor to the Novella Center outside of Baltimore. If you remember, back in 2015, we established ourselves in the suburbs, and in 2015, a young man by the name of Freddie Gray was killed in the back of a police van in Baltimore. Riots ensued. I had been in Baltimore then for 2 years and had become friendly with Mayor Stephanie Rawlings Blake, and we were having a discussion about the unrest. And I said to her, Madam Mayor, I don't know anything about policing, so I can't help you with that. But I do know about building businesses. And these riots, while what happened to Freddie Gray was a shame, it's not all about that. It's also about underinvesting in minority communities for 200 years. And that's something you have to solve. So we moved into Baltimore City. If you know anything about what was going on there, the riots started at a place called Mondawmin Mall, and we moved our offices directly across the street from Mondawmin Mall to really put a stake in the ground in those communities that were being most affected by lack of access to capital, lack of access to training and entrepreneurship. Since then, we've supported more than 300 companies. We've deployed nearly $10 million of investment across 83 different investments, and 75% of that money has been invested in minority and female founders. If you know anything about the venture capital business, it's been this way for as long as I've been in the business, so about 16 years, that the numbers are really drastic. That black founders receive about 1% of all venture capital dollars in the United States. Female founders somewhere in the range of 2 to 3%. And you know, there's been studies that show that as a nation, we're losing out on something like $4 trillion of financial benefit because we don't invest in those communities and those entrepreneurs. So part of our mission is to do a better job of that, and I think we've shown that we can do that with this number of 75%. Those businesses have created nearly 500 direct jobs in Baltimore. We estimate that they've probably created another 1,500 indirect jobs. And the companies that we've invested in have raised over $80 million in additional capital. We've done some work in New Jersey. In Baltimore, we are pretty expansive about the companies that we identify and we bring to town to work with. So a few examples, there's a company called Ponds Tech that's based in Jersey City. They've created an AI system for mobile ultrasound that enables caregivers to, with limited expertise, to provide outpatient services to rural and underserved urban communities. Another business that we've invested in that's located in New Jersey is a company called Insight Health. They're in Marlton. They partner with schools, colleges, and nonprofits to improve access to affordable outpatient psychiatric care, children, adolescents, adults. And then finally, another one of the businesses we've invested in and worked with here in the great state of New Jersey is a company called Integrate Tech. They're an AI-driven sort of one-click lesson planning software that helps teachers generate lessons plans that are tied to state standards and personalized for individual students' level of understanding. I bring those up just to demonstrate the type of work that we're doing and the types of organizations that we're supporting, we hope to do here in New Jersey. Why Trenton? I believe, every thriving city has a thriving startup ecosystem. And I also believe we coined a term in Baltimore called Equitech. You may have heard of FinTech and EdTech and Cyber Tech. Equitech is a way that we think about how do we create a more equitable tech ecosystem. So we believe the most important part of building that ecosystem is the ability to help founders that have historically been left behind. And generally they're left behind because of the way they look like me. And those founders, we know they're creating innovations that break down barriers to access in society. And we talk about breaking down barriers to access. We look at things like access to food, access to water, healthcare, access to technology, access to education. So those are the types of founders that we're looking to support, and we know that we can find them in underrepresented communities. We also know that when we support those founders, we put them or help put them on a path to create real, equitable, generational wealth. And that's one thing that's very important to us. So I'm here to ask the City Council to invest an amount in support of our proposed training program for Trenton entrepreneurs. Many of you may have already heard this, but because of the work that we've done in Baltimore, we were recently asked by the state of New Jersey Economic Development Authority, to be one of 3 funds that's leading something called the Black and Latino Seed Fund for the state of New Jersey. We were awarded $7.5 million commitment of investment in that fund. We're actually out actively seeking additional investment in that fund, up to $50 million. And all that money is earmarked to be invested in the state of New Jersey. So I have been in conversations with the mayor for some time just about the things that we were doing in Baltimore. And our proposal has always been that we look for partnerships with the jurisdictions where we work. And those partnerships work very simply. The jurisdictions help fund the training program, the accelerator, and in return, we match those dollars with investment capital. So that's why we're here. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Any questions?
Council President?
Councilman Williams.
Thank you. Sir, the first question I have is, what are the parameters or what are the criteria that an entrepreneur would need to have in order to get entry to the program?
Yeah, so we look at the earliest stages of what we call high-growth startups. So generally, it can be anything from an idea on the back of a napkin all the way up to about $500,000 in revenue and anywhere in between. So that's one thing, and as you might be able to tell from our presentation, the way we think about the world is sort of 3 legs of a stool. One is we think there are smart people everywhere. There's just not opportunity everywhere. So we're trying to get into communities where those opportunities have been vacant before. So we're looking to support underrepresented founders. The second leg of the stool is this idea of stakeholder capitalism. We believe that companies that focus on creating value first to society are going to be the most successful businesses in the future. And the third is this idea of breaking down barriers to access. We're looking for ideas that make society more equitable. So those are sort of the three things, and then we say it could be like I said, an idea on the back of a napkin, up to about $500,000. The state of New Jersey, for the fund that we're running here, they have mandated that these dollars be invested in Black and Latino founders. We don't know if that's going to change, but it's what we do anyway. Why it may change is, you may have heard there's a lawsuit that's happening in Atlanta. A fund called the Fearless Fund is being sued by the same group that brought the Supreme Court case for affirmative action, saying that only investing in one type of founder might be unconstitutional. It's got a long way to go before that happens. I've talked to NGDA about that. They don't seem to be concerned. For us, it really doesn't matter, because what we have done is we found a way to get into those communities and find those entrepreneurs. And we know, because there's smart people everywhere, when we do, we'll find great ideas.
And then my understanding is you've had extensive discussions already with Economic Development Authority regarding this. So where I'm going to come from this question is, a lot of times our entrepreneurs, startups, whether they're young folks or older folks, getting them to develop a business plan or to get a performance statement, make sure that they have a billing system, even if it's off of an Excel spreadsheet.
Yep.
All that process through eventually going for outside financing if they get successful enough. Will your organization be there every step of the way to make sure that you guide them towards that success? And also, you know, these little birdies who hopefully get their wings, they can go on and move out of the program.
Yeah, that's exactly what we do. So our program is a 12-week-long accelerator. During COVID, we developed an online learning management system that analyzes where the entrepreneur is, and then a little bit in detail answer to this. We believe that from an idea to raising your first large round of capital, that there's a path that you have to go on. And we've created a learning management system that helps entrepreneurs understand what that path is and move along that path. It's both a curriculum and a mentor-driven program. So we've got about 150 mentors from around the country that work with us throughout the program. Every company that comes into the program gets what we call a lead mentor. That mentor works with them every step of the way. And then we have what we call expert, subject matter mentors. So for example, a company may come in and say, I have to do a financial performance plan, I have to think about my unit economics, and I have to understand that. And even though their lead mentor might not have that expertise, we have, the subject matter experts would then sort of parachute in, okay, how do we help you? So along with our staff, all of our mentors, the learning management system, the curriculum we built, curriculum is based on, my background. I've got a pretty extensive background. I'm an architect by training. I started an architectural firm back in 1986. I turned that into a management consulting company, which I ran for about 20 years. I sold that company. I ran a hedge fund. I left the hedge fund to run this business. So between myself, my expertise, my staff will be hiring people here in New Jersey to help run the program. We're with the founders every step of the way from day one. It's very intense. It's immersive. But it's valuable and effective.
And then will they also get pro bono legal assistance?
Yeah, generally we do that. We work with a bunch of law firms all over the country. So, lots of times that pro bono legal assistance will point them in the right direction, but they'll eventually have to pay for it. But yes.
And my last question is, once they leave the program or towards that last round of financing venture capital, will the organization maintain an equity stake in the business?
Yeah, so how our program works is, as we said, we're here, I'm representing the Novella Center for Entrepreneurship, which was our training program, which is a 501c3. The reason that we look to partner with jurisdictions is because everyone who comes in that program, they go for free. There's no equity taken, and they don't pay anything to be a part of the program. At the end of that program, and we'll take 15 to 20 entrepreneurs in that program, we'll do it twice a year. At the end of that program, then our venture capital, our sister firm, the venture capital partner, will look at all of those companies and determine which ones to invest in. So no equity taken for being in the program. After the program, if our venture capital fund decides to invest, then we take equity. Usually, for the level of companies that we work with, our first check's $125,000, and then we'll invest. We usually say 25% of the next round, up to $250,000, and we've gone as high as $1 million investing in those companies. The other interesting thing about our program is that this is the way that we've structured this ask, I believe, is this is a pilot program. We want to see if it works. We want to see if it works in Trenton. And after that, we would likely look for additional funding from other organizations in the state. But one of the nice things about our program is that we've created a really unique model. It's called Pay It Forward. So the Pay It Forward model is everyone comes in for free, so essentially everyone's on scholarship. If you get investment at the end of the program, you have to pay it forward. And that's a fee of $20,000. So because of that, once we start making investments, the program becomes evergreen. So at about $4 million, which would last us for about 5 years, then the program becomes evergreen. We want for about 10 or 12 additional years. So that's how the model works.
Thank you very much, sir.
So for clarification, I know we spoke briefly earlier, Mr. Cherry, this would be based here in the city of Trenton, correct?
Correct.
Okay, what you just said actually could be the lines of Shark Tank to a degree, so it's along the lines of that.
Yes, it is. We've actually had companies that have gone on to Shark Tank.
So that's excellent. And what is it exactly that you are looking from us? If I could just get to that bottom line.
Yeah, $1 million of funding for the accelerator program, for the not-for-profit.
Say that once again, please.
$1 million in funding for a pilot program to launch the not-for-profit accelerator in Trenton.
Thank you. And are there any assurances that we get with that money? With that?
Yes. Our model is our venture capital fund then guarantees that we would invest at least that equal amount of money in entrepreneurs in Trenton.
And how long is this, are you looking to, let's say we were to give this $1 million investment, how long would that say that you're here in our community?
A pilot program would last for about 2 years, and I think that's the way to move forward, is with a pilot program to make sure that that we're able to be successful here in Trenton. And then after that pilot program, you know, our thesis would be that we would raise additional capital after that to continue the program here in Trenton. If our goal is to raise, we've already raised $7.5 million from the state, our goal is to raise $50 million, it would take us at least 5 to 7 years to invest that amount of money.
Thank you.
And we're mandated to invest that in the state.
Excellent, thank you. Madam Figueroa-Gettler.
So with the investees paying it forward, $20,000, what is their fashion success proposed for them to be able to pay back $20,000 back into the program?
So we're going to give them $125,000, right? So the pay it forward model is, if you go through the program and we decide not to invest, you don't pay anything. If we go through the program and we decide to invest, You have to pay it forward, and that's the way that we are able to build up this war chest to continue to train entrepreneurs in the future for free.
And so this program started in Baltimore. What is the program's profit margin?
What is the
The
program?
profit margin, like what do you guys offer this program? What is the program itself? How are you guys paying yourselves? Like, what is your profit margin?
Yes, so the accelerator is a 501c3, it's not a profit center. We don't look to make profits in the
So
accelerator.
to pay it forward goes to other entrepreneurs in the
Yes,
system only? Oh,
exactly.
okay, thank you.
Yeah,
Just want to clarify that.
no, thank you, good question.
Madam President?
Councilwoman Williams, Edwards.
Thank you. I want to start by saying that I like this pilot program. I've done a little bit of research into Novella and seen the success stories in other cities that you've affected. And as a predominantly African American and Latinx community, things like this is necessary. You can simply drive through our city and see so many silver gates that have not been lifted in years.
Yeah.
Our entrepreneurs here unfortunately do not have the capital to get to a brick and mortar. And we have a lack of education issue in our city as well. A lot of people start businesses but don't really know how to fully operate them. And therefore they fail within the first year or two or even 5, not simply even understanding what a financial performance plan is. And so I think that something like this is one of the missing pieces of the puzzle here in our economy. We want the big businesses, we want our anchor businesses, but we need to support our entrepreneurs too. They are a part of our economy and they help our economy flow. So to provide this type of support, especially for free, I don't think that would go unappreciated at all. I think that we need something like this. But I want to elaborate more on, because you do plan on having a brick and mortar. So is this going to be like a hub, or is this just simply a resource center for the 12-week program?
No, it's a hub, right? Because the way that we run the business, so it's we generally do 2 cohorts of entrepreneurs per year, and it's 12 weeks. And we say, you know, we're preparing for a cohort, so we're doing a call for applications. We're going out into the community, trying to find where the entrepreneurs are. We're getting them to apply. We run the cohort, and then we're preparing for the next one. And while we're preparing for the next one, we allow them to use that space for free. They can use the space as a hub, but it's also, you know, sort of it turns into a center of activity. We've been doing this for 10 years, and we've worked with, you know, we worked with Princeton, we worked with Rutgers, we worked with University of Chicago, the University of Virginia, Catholic U, where I went to college, Harvard, Yale. So we've got a reputation around the country for bringing in, you know, academics and other entrepreneurs and large businesses to come and talk to and see what we're up to. So it becomes a hub of activity for all of the entrepreneurs in the community. The ones who come to our program get to use it for free. We don't charge anyone to use it, but it becomes a place where people know that they can come and see what's going on in the ecosystem.
Awesome. And hypothetically, if you were approved on Thursday for this grant, how soon would you be able to procure a location and open and begin operating?
Yeah, we're not sure about that yet. We've looked around. We haven't found a specific location. We've seen a few, but we haven't done a deep dive on any of those because we didn't know we were going to be approved. So we've not done all of that work yet. I suspect that we would look to launch the first cohort within 6 to 8 months. So finding the location, getting the location ready, putting, you know, one of the things that we do, which is a time-consuming thing, is that we don't just put out a call for applications online. We have an online application, but we don't just put that out on social media and wait for things to come in. We actually go into the community, finding organizations that are talking to the entrepreneurs. So that takes us some time. In Baltimore, there's an organization called Baltimore Young Professionals. They actually started 10 years ago as we did. And it started out, there was probably 15 or 20 black founders and executives from around the city. It's grown to about 1,000. But every time we do our call for applications, the first thing we do is go to a lunch and learn, or a number of lunch and learns with Baltimore Young Professionals to make sure that they know that we're ready, we're taking applications. So we've spoken with Dr. Harmon at the African American Chamber of Commerce and a few other folks, but it would take us some time to figure out who are those organizations in Trenton that we could go to, because we know that even sometimes in the communities that we want to get, maybe they don't have an internet access, we don't know. So we know that we have to do a better job of getting into the community. This is one of the things that we say is that we'll invest in anybody, no matter where they come from, and no matter what they look like. But in order to do that, you actually have to do the work. You actually have to go into the community and find out where those people are. You just can't say that. So that takes some time. So I would imagine, depending on how long it takes us to find a location, what's the condition of that, hopefully 6 to 8 months, but hard to say at this point.
Awesome. We have hundreds of abandoned properties around the city. HEB surely needs it.
I was in Washington, D.C. in the 80s. There was hundreds, and there's still hundreds in Baltimore, so I get it. But it's also one of the reasons why a place like, we've been thinking about this for a long time, that what we do is very impactful, and we can do it in a lot of different places. And the types of places we want to do it, we tested this model. We said, if it works in Baltimore, it can work a lot of places. Those are the types, those post-industrial cities that have, seen the same, fall-on hardship, like Trenton, like Baltimore, Baton Rouge, Cleveland, those types of places, and types of places we want to be.
Okay. Well, I will leave you with this. A couple of us work with a lot of entrepreneurs in the city, and a few months ago, shameless plug, myself being the co-founder, we started a Young Professionals Network. And we meet monthly, and we're getting ready to kick up to bi-weekly because of the underserved needs of our community. So I would love to work with you. Granted, this gets passed. We get this passed. But I would love to support this, and I would love to help with you post-approval if council all agrees on this type of grant, because this is definitely crucial for our city.
Thank you.
And I thank you for taking the time to come out here and take a risk on Trenton, because a lot of people don't typically do that. And thank the mayor as well. I know you guys have a great relationship, so
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
Well, the organization that you're speaking of is ideally the type of organization we need to be connected to. So.
Madam President?
Madam Vice President.
I just want to, first of all, thank you for the presentation. And if I could just ask the mayor a quick question, only because our constituents are going to want to know the answer.
Yes.
So Novella, over the African American Chamber of Commerce, or over anything that's here touching Trenton already, why this and not that?
That is an excellent question. First of all, as Jeff mentioned, is working with Dr. Harmon already. And on his last venture, Jeff went on East Hanover to meet with Elijah and Andre McNear. And just before here, he met with Kevin Wortham, as you know, is Mind Our Business, so that we could get collectively all the groups into entrepreneurship. The one difference that Jeff's organization has that the others, and I'm not putting anybody down, is that EDA gave them $7.5 million, or is investing $7.5 million. Jeff is coming with $7.5 million into the city of Trenton, like no other organization, is setting up a hub like no other organization, and this is our match. 4 years ago, when I got along with the council president and terms of endearment, Catherine Bride and I drove down to Baltimore and we actually went to the showcase and were completely impressed and blown away of young entrepreneurs showcasing their talents on stage and funded by this organization that had no access to capital. And it was amazing, and then unfortunately the pandemic came. So we talked about this for 4 years, and in the original ARP proposal that I did in 2021, there was a chunk for entrepreneur building because of the pandemic. We've lost revenue in the city, we've lost job opportunities, and this is a way of helping from the basement up. But don't think that this is displacing anybody, this is including everybody. He's working with the African American Chamber of Commerce, and we want to get him into the Latino merchants. But this whole thing is an organic organization that the model works in Baltimore, and we want to put in Trenton. Jeff can go anywhere in the state because of EDA's investment. He has specifically chosen to set up operation in the city of Trenton. Our investment in the company, in the project, ensures that it will be focused on Trenton entrepreneurs.
Thank you, because we also have the Smith Family Foundation, they do their incubator and all that stuff like that, so I just wanted to...
They're on the list of who meets, but we want to include all of those in this project.
I'd also like to ask too, that once, well, I'll wait until we decide whatever we decide, but high school inclusion as well, like this could run the gamut just to make sure that we truly are doing what you said and touching the people here and honing in, because we have some wonderful students that are entrepreneurs as well. So to even be able to tap in to your knowledge base, either through workshops, conversation, meet and greet, whatever it looks like, to maximize, the opportunity. Thank you.
Those are really excellent points, and I think that one of the things to understand, I think that what we've learned is that in order for us to be successful, you have to build an ecosystem. You can't be in your lane. You have to sort of connect with others, right? That's what we've learned by doing this in Baltimore. So we're coming with that knowledge already. And we work with Cochran State, we work with Morgan State, we work with the high schools. We're also working with every single other accelerator incubator in the state of Maryland. Because sometimes they'll come through our program and we'll say, hey, this company would be great for your program. Sometimes we'll find an entrepreneur, we're like, you're not quite there yet for us, but this other program who we're partnering with, you'll be great for them. So we do that. We do that by rote. We've learned that lesson.
Thank you. Anyone else? So, Mr. Cherry, I just want to say once again, thank you for coming out, Mayor, for bringing this towards us. I sincerely appreciate the fact that you are working with the Black Chamber of Commerce and looking to walk with the others that are here in our community. And like Council Vice President just said, that one of the organizations that I was actually going to bring up also is the Smith Family Foundation Smith Family Foundation of New Jersey Foundation, which is a Black philanthropic organization. We've seen the results of redlining here in our community. We've seen what Black Wall Street has done in our community. And so our community has been dealt a raw hand. So to have this potentially come here to our community and to give our entrepreneurs, both young and old, the opportunity to see their dreams come into fruition is encouraging. And it gives it's a sense of renewed hope. As our city is opening up and we're doing great things now, and we are working collectively together, it is nice to see that someone else sees what we see. We know the quality that we have here. It's just a matter of giving us the opportunity to shine. So, as Council Vice President also alluded to, one of the areas that I'm always concerned about is our youth. And we have our unions, of course, who I'd love to see us working with, because the unions, we do have some that are looking to go into our schools, who are trying to teach a skill, trying to teach them a trade. And I'd like to see us make sure that we are making room for everybody so that we're learning together. This way we're growing together. So I thank you for this. I appreciate your coming out here and giving of your time, and I sincerely appreciate your presentation and all that you've shared with us on this evening regarding this pilot.
Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Madam President, there is on the docket a resolution concerning Thunder Stadium.
Yes.
We're going to be withdrawing that because there are some questions concerning the county's commitment and level of monetary support, and so we don't think it's going to be fair to ask this council to decide on that resolution until we know what that will be. However, in the meantime, we're joined this evening by Joe Finley, who's the owner of the Trenton Thunder, and he's agreed to, explain to council what would be done with that money and the improvements that they're seeking to make at Thunder Stadium, and also answer any questions you may have. So with your permission, I'd ask Mr. Finley to join us here at the dais.
Thank you, Mr. Beach.
Good evening, everyone. My name's Joe Finley. I'm one of the co-owners of the Trenton Thunder, not just one of the owners. And I apologize. Our general manager was here earlier, who had a handout for you, and he had to go. He has two very young children and had to go home, and he took, of course, the folder with him. So that'd be great, Jim, if you're able. And I'm just going to be able to do this with my phone real quick. Thank you for having us here tonight. We're in at the Trenton Thunder. It's ironic. It's great being back here, by the way, as an aside. I remember, I think it was 33 years ago today, that I met first with Doug Palmer and Bob Pernetti on bringing minor league baseball to Trenton, New Jersey. And it's been a hell of a stretch. We've had some good times and some not so good times, with everything that happened with the New York Yankees and with COVID, losing a season and a half and so forth. So I was an attorney. It was nice being an attorney, but it's nice, even better, being in the minor league baseball business. We're proud to be in the city of Trenton. When we first started having those conversations many, many years ago, decades ago, with Bob and with Doug, people told us we were crazy to put a minor league team in the city of Trenton. And then they also told us when we insisted it go into the city of Trenton. I'm a kid originally from Camden, New Jersey. So, and the conversation you just had about doing these things in the inner city, it's important. And not only should we be putting businesses in the city of Trenton, but hiring those people and calling ourselves the Trenton Thunder. Those same naysayers told me many decades ago that, all right, if you're going to be in the city of Trenton, you can't call yourselves the Trenton Thunder. It has to be the Jersey Thunder or the Capital City Thunder and so forth. So we were happy and proud to plant that flag many, many years ago, and we're still proud to be here and call ourselves the Trenton Thunder. But we need your help. Major League Baseball has mandated new facility standards for their players. And by that I mean there are many venues across the country that require funding for the ballparks. Over the years, we've had a great public partner at Mercer County. They put in, and I'm doing this from memory because Jeff has the papers, in excess of $30 million for the ballpark. We put in excess through lease payments and capital contributions in excess of $20 million. But we were up against COVID, where we lost a season and a half, and now we have these new mandated requirements of Major League Baseball for the facilities. The state of New Jersey has awarded Mercer County $5 million for a phase one to start the construction of these new facility standards. And going forward, we're going to be having multiple conversations with Mercer County for a Phase 2 element for the new facility standards that are mandated by Major League Baseball. But we need your help, and went to the mayor and his administration asking for $1 million from the city of Trenton to be invested into the ballpark in South Trenton, one of the gateways to this city, with your help with staying here for another 30 years in Trenton, New Jersey. So I know it's a heavy ask, and I said to the mayor, if this was for property tax dollars, we would not be asking for any help. That's important, and that being reinvested back into the city of Trenton. But I know ARPA funds are to help with the investment for businesses and groups and so forth that are located within the city borders, and that's why we're seeking your help, man. I could go on and on. You have, I think, some bullet points in front of you. We didn't want to make it too long. We could go on forever, but we've had a great partnership with the city of Trenton over the years, whether it's the school district, the city, all the people that we've hired over the years, all the businesses that we use, all the, we were the first city that when Major League Baseball initiated their RBI program, revitalizing baseball in the inner city, we were the first franchise to be designated that. So we're very proud of what we've done over the last 30 years, and we think we've been a good partner with the city of Trenton and Mercer County and the state of New Jersey, and we look to do that for the next 30 years as well. And let me say before I forget, I'm certainly happy if it's more convenient for anyone, Madam President, to meet on an individual basis, or I know we have sunshine acts and so forth to honor, but cell phone, email, my preference is always face-to-face. I'd be happy to meet with any of you, all of you, individually, as a small group, or come back here again, Madam President, to answer any questions you might have about us.
Thank you. Questions? Yes.
Thank you for coming here this evening, Mr. Finley. As a lifelong South Trenton resident, and still living in South Trenton, right on Lamberton Street,
Okay.
right in front of the stadium.
I remember when the Champale factory was there.
I'm a veteran.
Okay.
I'm close to Cashmere.
That's how long it's been.
But yes, I see here that one thing that troubles me is that the people who come in for Trenton Thunder games come in for the games and then they leave the city. I see here number 2 from your sampling points, you state that the Thunder has contributed well in excess of $20 million over its time in South Trenton. Can you explain that?
Yes, through our lease payments and in capital investments into the physical plant of the ballpark, we've invested in excess of $20 million. So we've had a long-term lease with Mercer County, even though the debt service is all paid off for the ballpark, the bonds, the original bonds that were sold to pay for the construction. But our lease goes through 2033, and under the new administration in January, whomever that might be, we're certainly going to extend our lease with Mercer County. So continuing those lease payments, as well as just literally when, even though it wasn't even required, spending millions of dollars on the batting tunnels, clubhouse improvements, even things for the fans like video boards. That's where that number comes from.
Okay. And if my research serves me correctly, I think that Thunder is paying 3% in taxes going to the city of Trenton. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Is that negotiable? 3% tax in Trenton. Is that negotiable? Once we give you $1 million in ARPA funds to maintain and to better and bring an MLB team into the city, which I'm for, is that 3% tax revenue coming back into the city? Is that negotiable?
Well, I think everything's negotiable in this world. So most things anyway, but I wish our general manager was here. He's also I'm not, as familiar as probably I should be in that regard. We have our lease payment and all of our lease obligations, but he's also our CFO, so.
Because if I'm not mistaken, Mayor Clear, if you can answer this, I believe it's been 3% for the last 30+ years, correct?
Right.
I believe that as well, but we should check the records.
Okay. You want to ask that question? You want me to ask that? Is there a revenue that's garnered to the city of Trenton in parking as well?
We do pay a parking tax.
What is the parking tax?
I don't know, to be honest.
So take that folder with him. Okay.
And in addition to just the taxes and so forth, every opportunity we've had is to use, and we made this promise to Bobby and Doug 33 years ago, was to, wherever we can, to use city businesses, whether that's Time People's Bakery, to Taylor Ham, to Richie and Page used to be right down the road there in South Trenton. Unfortunately, they moved out of the city. But not just city businesses, but also Mercer County businesses, because a lot of those businesses employ city residents. So I think if you check with Mercer County or even the folks over at the state, I think we've done a very, very good job of honoring those commitments, and we'll continue to do so.
Yeah, I think that that's very important to make sure that the people who do come to the games do patronize the city. We don't, like I said, we don't want people coming and leaving.
I agree.
And another issue that I hope that you guys will be trying to tackle, I don't know if in collaboration with the city, is the parking issue. Where we live, parking is a problem. We do have permit parking, but we do have ample people patronizing the games that do park in our residential areas. Do you have any proposed solution for parking outside of what you guys already have?
Well, that would be, that is an issue and has been an issue since day one. In fact, we made some of our parking available. If you remember, when the county brought in Kathmandu originally, we gave up some of our spots. So it was good for the South Trenton waterfront to do that. I don't know what's going to be in the tea leaves for our landlord come January and thereafter, but whomever the next administration is and the county commissioners, we would love to have conversations with them about further developing the waterfront, and part of that, a critical part of that, is the parking situation. Because let's face it, it's an issue. There's an access issue and there's a parking issue, an ingress and egress.
And you bring up the riverfront. Yes, Trenton Thunder has a key parcel of our riverfront. Is there any initiatives that have possibly been proposed that you've been speaking to your colleagues about maybe possibly building into the riverfront more for other types of businesses expanding into Dock Island and such?
We would love to do that. And I think when the page is ultimately turned, and candidly, it's not just the city, the county, but the state of New Jersey, and we've had some initial discussions with that, should be proactive as well. It should be really a partnership in developing this, because we don't know, we're just a tenant to the ballpark, but as you know, Mercer County owns a lot in the state of New Jersey, so it would be a multi-party, but our hope, and that's why we've never left, and even though we were communities in the past said, you should relocate here, that we want to bring back baseball, but we're committed to the city of Trenton and to the region, and we certainly intend to be there for many years to come.
Madam President, a couple more questions just quickly. What is the likelihood that we will attract another MLB team to come to the city?
I feel very, very good about that. I can't speak for Major League Baseball. Ultimately, it is going to be up to them. but I feel very, very good about that.
Okay, and then with the construction on the riverbank right now, what is the timeframe do you think that we would get a team and we would be back into, back in action? And how would that affect, how would the construction affect patrons of the ballpark?
Well, with you're talking about the construction, not on 29, the construction.
For the river, yeah, the riverbank, yeah. It's 29 too, it's affecting both, 29 and the river.
Yeah.
Doing the river wall, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure where you're at.
How do you think it's going to affect patrons coming to the games? That we have a backup of traffic, we have work going on 29 on the river wall, things of that nature?
It's a challenge. It's a challenge, and let's face it, our goal is to, again, thinking long-term, because remember when the tunnel was built, going through those couple of years, I can't even remember now, maybe my brain's exercised that from, my memory, but that was a difficult, but you get through it. And the good news is, if and when we attract a fully affiliated Major League club, it's going to be 30 to 40 more games too, which is good for everybody. Good for the city, good for, there'll be people coming into the city and so forth. But I can't really speak to, I know DOT, we stay in contact with everyone, but it's a real moving target. All that, I mean, what's going on now is not, an easy.
And one final question.
Sure.
I understand that there's 3 phases to this renovation for the stadium, is that correct?
Well, at least 2, probably 3. Our goal is we've gotten the original seed money now from the state of New Jersey, but, and we would ask that this $1 million be part of our phase 1, but our phase 2, 3, 4, whatever you want to call it, is going back to the state of New Jersey and Mercer County, and then really doing what the ballpark needs to be done. It's a great ballpark, but it's 30 years old, and it just needs some work, and that would be part of that. This phase 1 would be meeting all the player components that are mandated now by Major League Baseball: clubhouses, women's locker rooms, batting tunnels, everything, down to bathroom fixtures and toilet fixtures. And it's amazing. But it's a different world of Major League Baseball, so they want to mandate all the minor league clubs as well.
Okay. So to be clear, this is county-owned. There will be no further city ask on behalf of Trenton Thunder.
There will be this is it. And this is the first and only ask in 30 plus years. So.
Thank you, Mr. Kennedy.
Sure. Please call me Joe.
Madam President.
Councilwoman Andrews.
I'll start off with the number 1 question. Though this stadium is in Trenton, this is a project that the county did. This is owned by the county. Therefore, it's under their jurisdiction. Have they been a part of the conversations, or did you try to get any type of funding from them, because they also have an ARP fund, the same as Trenton?
Yes, and it is a county facility, and Mercer County has been a great partner over the last 30 years, a wonderful partner. And I think the issue we have with Mercer County, and I'm just speaking for myself, I'm not speaking on behalf of the county commissioners or the county executive, is obviously there's a transition happening there.
Which should not matter, but it continues as ours.
I don't disagree. It shouldn't matter. But I think there's deference being paid to the next administration, whoever that might be. And then we'll revisit in January.
Okay. I have many thoughts and opinions on that. But I will say our governmental institutions need to improve and not put politics over people. Regardless of a new regime coming in January, this administration under the county still has obligations to fulfill that they have been sworn to do until the end of the year. And regardless of that matter, first of all, election day is in for a whole nother month. So they still have a job to do, and you should still be able to apply for that money, regardless. So we need to put our bitterness, our lame duck feelings to the side and work with the county commissioners. I would urge you, if you haven't, to still apply for the funds, because they still have an obligation to the people. And I will say that I'm elated to know that there is 3% of taxes coming to us from your lease payments, and I already knew about the parking revenue. However, with you having, we'll speak this into existence, when you get another MLB team, that will inadvertently increase the revenue because you'll be having more games, about 30 more games if I'm not mistaken, which I'm not sure what that translates into revenue-wise, but I would say millions. And I would strongly consider you to revisit that negotiation contract to increase the revenue that comes to the city, because we severely need it. As my council colleagues have touched, our waterfront is our most valuable asset in this city that we have. And we have not been able to take advantage of that because we have a lot of either non-tax-paying entities, or, well, we have the highway in a way as well, but we have low tax-paying entities on our waterfront that if weren't there, we would be revenuing thousands, hundreds of thousands of more dollars. So I would consider you to increase your contributions to the city of Trenton. While I see the bullet point list of everything that you do, and I appreciate everything you guys have done, but our waterfront is in severe need of redevelopment. And so I would strongly encourage you to at least be a part of that plan and work with the city more so. I know this is a county-owned entity, but this is the capital city that this is sitting in, and they sit in that their taxes and things as well. Go ahead, man. I'm sorry.
Councilman Edwards, I couldn't agree with you more, and I don't even think Joe can agree with you more, because we've had those discussions with the county, and we've had those discussions not only with the commissioners, but also with the county administration. The reality is, and you and I both agree, they ain't playing right now. So we have to wait it out. And to your other point is you want a greater commitment from the Trenton Thunder. This gets us to the table. And that's why I feel strongly about it. It's a totally legitimate question of whether public government should invest in ballparks or anything like that. That decision's already been made, it's there. The question now is, do we keep Trenton Thunder alive? Do we keep it relevant? And with our stake in it, Joe is really appreciative that, and the Thunder is appreciative that the city is willing to jump in for phase one. And we totally agree, the county, it's a county facility, they have to take over from here. But this also gets us a seat at the table. So going here on in, it behooves all of us, and we feel entitled to be at that table on any discussions going forward. And that's why I feel strongly about this. And Joe has succinctly made it clear that they suffered losses during COVID, and that's what ARP funds. They're like any other business in the city, but I feel that we should invest in them so that we get a return on that dollar, and that we insure on it going forward. But I completely agree, we shouldn't even be having this discussion. So you will get no argument from anybody about why the county isn't kicking in. It's another dynamics. For whatever, better or worse, they've made the decision to defer, and we have to respect that. We don't have to agree with it, and we certainly don't, but you're spot on, so I can't disagree with you at all.
I appreciate that, Mayor. Thank you. Lastly, well, not lastly, second to last, capitalization. When you get this new MLB team, we have the Yankees now. I don't even think most of us knew about that until they were on their way out, because there was no signage, there was no promotion for it, or if there was a lack. They didn't reach a lot of people in the city, and that could attract a lot more business, which in turn, a lot more revenue, which in turn would be revenue for the city that we can negotiate upon as well. So I would suggest when you get this MLB team locked in, to consider placing those like flag signages on the utility poles up and down our main arteries in our city, 29 Cash Street and things like that. So, so that you can bring more attention and more revenue. And lastly, I wanted to touch on the parking situation. We have a lot of underutilized parking in the city owned by the county. And have you guys partnered with like the arena or the county in general, because they have the parking lot on Cash Street as well, and you guys can bus the customer or you know, I don't know what you call them, customers, to and from, the patrons, to and from the ballpark, and that way it would minimize the parking issues that we have on the street throughout South Ward, because they take up a lot of residential parking, especially in our permit parking areas. So people are coming home with nowhere to park because of that issue. So have you considered that?
In fact, Councilwoman Edwards, we do that now. For Thursday through Sundays when we're home for a weekend, we actually, I forget the bus. It's not A1, it's Star. They've been our local bus company for all these years. The county does let us use the arena parking. So they go up, you know, right up and down, you know, where not only for our fans, but our employees and players as well, you know, to try to mitigate what we can, you know, the parking issues in South Trenton. So we've been doing that since day one. That, you know, it's not really needed on a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, but when the fans tend to come out on weekends, we've used those arena parking lots, you know, for years now.
Okay, awesome. Well, maybe the administration can consider placing signage on the side streets, the residential areas that says no ballpark parking allowed, and you will be told, yeah, we can tap into that revenue. But I think that would mitigate that issue too, is permit parking, and then we need some signage that says you cannot park here.
Yeah, ironically, one of the issues was, you know, when we gave over some of our parking to help Kathmandu out, and Councilwoman, you probably remember, there was interior parking within Route 29. Most people don't remember that. But when they reconfigured 29 and built a tunnel and so forth, we lost all that parking. So it's been a challenge, you know, over the 30 years. But, you know, you wake up in the morning, you take it on. So, but I appreciate your suggestions, and we'll continue to try and, you know, figure it out down there.
Council President.
In Harrison.
What did you say, Mr. Finley or Joe?
Joe, please.
Joe, could you get us the copy of that lease agreement?
Sure.
Because I would like to see that.
Yeah, there's several amendments, so I'll be happy to do that.
Right, the most current, or actually, could you give us all the copies, how it's been amended over the years? Are we talking AA or AAA baseball? Because wasn't Toronto, they were AAA, right?
They were AAA. When Canada, with the whole COVID, we lost a season and a half during COVID.
Right.
I can't really answer that question.
Okay. Because
that would be considered tampering. Sorry, I'm not allowed to answer that. But we want to get the best franchise available.
Right.
If a franchise is available, that's our goal, and you know, we feel good about things.
Right, because my take on it is it's in our city, so we want to make sure when it's ever there, it's going to benefit our city, but also maybe somehow we can maybe get revenue there, a portion of the ticket sales, whatever, parking, whatever we can. Like I said, this lease agreement, we can break this down and look at it and see how, like the mayor said, we can all partner together to work together to move the baseball and the city forward.
It's, we have the challenges of every other small business out there today. Costs keep going up, and what we have to balance, what we try to balance is, our mantra is affordable family entertainment. That affordability component is becoming much more challenging year after year. We all deal with it. Whether it's our groceries or gasoline for our cars or whatever it might be. That's the challenge we have. How do we keep it affordable for our fans and for people, yet still try to run a first-class facility? The last thing we want, and this is where I think, Councilman, our interests are aligned. We probably have done over the, I'm not going to say years, over the decades, well over and above what we were ever required to do. Because you want to run a first-class operation. It's not only the right thing to do, it's good business, right? You want those fans to come back. Fans that were coming as kids now are bringing their kids and grandparents and so forth. So that's the challenge that every business in the city of Trenton has, and candidly, every business everywhere these days is trying to balance that pricing versus all the expenses. And our lease payment keeps going up as well.
Well, you brought back Riverfest, right?
We did.
Right. I never understood what happened there because I thought it was phenomenal. You had bands playing here. You had large crowds. It was a wonderful event. I remember, what was his name? Steven Seagal. I remember he was on stage. It was, guess,
good memory.
Guess who? Guess who? Steven Seagal was on stage. Walked right by me and I went, wait a minute, Steven Seagal, but you're right. At the end of the day, it's all about moving the city forward and doing these things, improving our whole city is what we up here want to do. Work together. But I can see what your vision is.
Well, we try to, candidly, this is why if anyone wants to meet one-on-one, I don't want to waste everyone's time, but I'll give you the reality of our business. When the arena was built, it killed our concert business. When these casinos, the casinos in Atlantic City, the casino parks in Northeast Philadelphia, all that. When all these things popped up, we were basically put out of the concert, and we try to do as many non-game day events as we can, whether it's working with the Trenton Central High School people to hitting clinics and part of that RBI program to, I'm drawing a blank on the guy's name, the eating contest we just held.
Joey Chestnut.
Joey Chestnut, thank you. Of course, it rained, all day, but,
And you have a lot of events for the people with dogs, which is...
We're very dog friendly.
Exactly. Which is wonderful. Yeah. Thank you.
Madam President.
Madam Vice President.
Thank you. I'll be quick. Thank you for your presentation. Appreciate you. When we talk about the county involvement, that's where my concern just comes up, right? Because we're talking about a significant amount of money. Are they going to put in? Are they not? The administration's not playing ball right now. Are they going to do this then? We put the $1 million in. What happens if, and you don't have to answer this rhetorical, right? But what happens if they don't pull their end of the bargain? You're looking for a MLB team. What happens if we don't have one? We put this money in. What happens to the stadium then, right? And so I'm hopeful that as we move forward, to my colleague's point, that we do hold the county more accountable with what they are contributing to us in the city. To your point, the arena came and took things away, but my understanding is they have the people that manage the PA, the spectrum thing or whatever, something in PA, so they're not competing with what they're even bringing to the arena. We don't even have entertainment or anything at the arena, right? And so when we talk about advertising, signage, putting things up, letting people know, the county has to do more than just say, here, we're doing this, pay us. Right? So if we're looking for more of, and I know you can't control that, I'm just saying my thoughts. That is what we need to hold the county to. We do need to have more as it comes to with a partnership with tickets or parking or something. I do see that you have here the sampling of school partnerships. Yeah, you allow Trenton High to have the graduation at the ballpark, but for these things like that, they do pay a fee. Correct? Maybe it's a reduced fee, but they pay to have the events there. I'm looking for something more. If we're going to invest in doing, we talk about giving back to the city, that, you know, it goes above and beyond just a free ticket here and there when a night is slow or something like that, to really invest. You're seasonal, so it's nice. You give opportunities for the kids to work in the summer, but some of these kids need jobs year round. So even if it's a matter of hosting workshops or things that the kids can actually come in and still learn, you know, ongoing, that you're sewing back into the city of Trenton is what I'm hoping that we can have as we move forward. Thank you.
No, I appreciate your comments, Councilwoman, and just, I know you didn't answer, but you know, one thing I learned from this whole process is we have to do a better job of pounding our own chest. And I mean that just from, we do a lot with the city of Trenton, a lot of the things that people don't know about, and that's why whatever happens here, I think we have to do a better job of reaching out to you, but it's a two-way street too, as well. And I think we've been so focused, because Mercer County is our landlord over the decades of dealing with the county. And the county's been a great partner. They really have. And, you know, as, you know, Reed and his administration has been a very good partner. And the commissioners, I know, feel very strongly about things. So that's all. I'll leave it at that. Thank you.
Council President?
Councilman Williams.
So actually, there are a couple of things that I have to say, but, you know, one of the things that I want to put out there is when we actually had a hotel in this town, and hopefully, God willing, the creek don't rise, will happen again. I remember distinctly the Trenton Thunder being a regular renter of rooms there for the baseball team. So the players, etc., every single summer had a place that was clean, safe, and in Trenton.
That's a great, I forgot about that. We mandated the visiting and home teams had to stay at the Trenton Marriott and then subsequently. And I hope we get the hotel back in the city. And if we do, that's where people will be staying.
But however, I would like to ask questions, but I think it's going to be best that I recuse myself, because my daughter, as a Trenton kid, did work the past few summers seasonal in the summertime. So I want to ask Mr. Bridges, I did discuss this before, but, you know, what I should be doing with this.
Yes, we did discuss this. I don't think it rises to the level that you would have to recuse yourself, but in consultation with Mr. Kaloji, it probably is better just to know once the caution that you recuse yourself from this.
So I will recuse myself. But I'd like to ask a few questions if that will be allowed, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
So, if I'm recused, I can't ask any questions?
She can ask questions. She believes the community may need, but in terms of a vote on that, she shouldn't.
So recusal is just not for a vote.
Correct.
And I'll keep with that standard. I won't ask her questions. I wouldn't want to, if I comment.
I'll provide some amendments to you ready, but my understanding is if you're recusing yourself, then you can't vote on it, but you can ask questions that
You want to know
the public wants to hear.
Executive session.
I can't hear you. She's not deliberating, meaning questions? Yes, she can ask questions. Which matter was it when you were told you were not allowed to?
Yes.
There were multiple occasions where initially many of us had to recuse ourselves from situations, and as a result of that, we were instructed that when we recuse ourselves, we could not ask questions towards the situation. And then when we were in the back, if there were issues in executive session, we had to leave the room. We couldn't ask anything. We couldn't be a part of any discussion or anything. So it's not to take away from Councilwoman Williams, but this whole time, we've all been under the practice that if we recuse ourselves, we don't ask anything if we're sitting up here on the dais, because we can't vote or speak to it, because it may be biased, I guess, because we're recusing ourselves from it.
Okay, I don't remember that conversation, but
Just to give you a little background, Mr. Solicitor, this was at the direction of the ABC attorney that the council was functioning as the ABC board at the time, and there were individuals who recused themselves. You were saying before that as well?
Yeah, that was
Okay.
So can we just do this just for the sake of, yes, can we just lean towards the not doing it just so we're safe, rather, and then we get clarification. So going forward and we get it in writing, so that everyone up on here is on one accord.
I'll be happy to provide more clarification. However, I think as I initially led with, I don't believe a seasonal job rises to the level of something for a child that rises to the level of prior recusal. However, out of respect for the body, I had a conversation with the body's attorney who said in an overabundance of caution it may be a good idea, but he was in agreement. He said, but to be safe, that was something that he would suggest. But I do not believe it rises to a recusal. I said in consultation with Mr. Kaloji, he said it's, safer is better than not safe. Again, I don't remember the conversation where the conversation was, you recuse yourself, you can't deliberate on or discuss or ask questions specifically because some of the questions may be from constituents that they want to hear, but I will get clarification on that.
I will gladly withdraw my request for question. I do have a question that was asked in my mind by a constituent.
Absolutely.
What does baseball have to do with COVID? Was a direct question, meaning what did you experience as a business during COVID that causes you to come to the city of Trenton for government money that has to do with COVID? Thank you.
That's directed at me. Yes. Okay. Yeah. Major League Baseball canceled a season and a half on us, and because of COVID related. And they had, I can't speak for them, but they have a players union with whom they were dealing, and obviously the major league clubs have a vested interest in the health and welfare of their players. So they mandated that all the games be stopped being played, and yet our expenses and our obligations, the banks, they don't care. They want their money back. So we had zero revenue for a year and a half, and then dealing with the whole perception. There's still I think anywhere we see a lot of large venues, there's still a little bit of a cloud about concern. We're not the Eagles, Philadelphia Eagles, where they're going to get their 65,000 people. So a lot of our fans are young families and senior citizens. So I think there's a concern there. So that was the, not only did we have the hit on, we lost a year and a half of business, but none of our expenses stopped, obviously, like a lot of small businesses. I mean, we were just fortunate that we were able to soldier on where a lot of small businesses candidly went bankrupt.
Councilwoman, if your question is directed more towards whether this is a permissible use of our funds, it specifically says in the regulations that you can use our funds to address tourism, and clearly I would put the Trenton under in the category of tourism.
And just throughout the country, ARPA funds have been used by, we have conference calls among the different clubs and so forth, and I don't know of a jurisdiction that did not provide ARPA funds for, a minor league baseball team or the facility, through their landlord. It wouldn't be going to us, it would be going to,
I mean, most of it has been said already on council. Thank you, sorry. I was just going to kind of agree with most of what my colleagues had already mentioned. One, I want to say thank you for pulling it because we do need to hold our county accountable. So I'm glad to hear that we're going to demand some things from them and see what they're bringing to the table. Because $1 million is a lot. And it's a lot when we have other areas in our city that need to be addressed. So I was torn between two, but I'm glad to hear that we're tabling that. And I just want to see, this is discussions that we can have later on down the line, with suggestions that we all have as to how we can invest more in the city, in our youth, as my colleague mentioned earlier. So that was all I really wanted to say. Most of it has been addressed already, but I look forward to hearing what the county is going to bring to the table. Thank you for being here.
I appreciate your time, and you're right, it's a very, it's a tough task the city council has there's no shortage of worthy candidates, I'm sure, for this ARPA fund, so I appreciate you just hearing me out and considering our application.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Mr. Garcia.
Certainly. No. Who's that? Madam President, on your call.
Push the button. Thank you, sir.
Madam President, we have minutes for your vote on Thursday, communications and petitions for your vote on Thursday as well, if there's no questions on those.
Madam President?
Madam Vice President.
Thank you. I just have a quick question. On the communications and petitions, 2Q, 2R, 2S, we have civil action summonses that were filed by Pellegrino and Feldstein for Avalon Management Group versus Passaic Street Housing, City of Trenton. My question goes further into the docket, just what that pertains to, because I see further on that we're looking to recommend Avalon Management Group as the redeveloper of another property in this in the document. Resolution 23439 under the Department of Housing and Economic Development, resolution designating Avalon Management Group as a redeveloper of various properties, North Clinton Avenue, Monmouth Street, and Monmouth Place located within the Trenton Station redevelopment area. Does that mean anything?
Is there anyone from administration that can address that? I was just left
I will try to address it. I don't know what those complaints are for. Obviously, we just received them, and it also could be a tort claim notice. I'm not sure. I just don't have the specifics with respect to what these civil actions are until I actually receive the complaint. Okay. Council President, we have Ms. Love, who said she's able to answer questions with respect to Council Vice President's question.
She can?
Yes, she can. I believe so.
Those are filings, they have liens against those properties, and they're filing for foreclosure to take possession. They have to serve us because we have an interest in the property as well. Thank you.
They're available if you want to be Madam Vice President as well. Okay, moving along. Moving on to ordinances for second reading and public hearing, we have ordinance 23-057, an ordinance amending and supplementing Trenton Municipal Section 8316, the rules of council. That will be a roll call. Ordinance 23-058, an ordinance amending Section 10-5H2 of the Municipal Code, alcoholic beverages of the City of Trenton to exempt the entertainment districts within the City of Trenton from certain restrictions of alcohol sales and create restaurant rooms. That will be a roll call as well. If there's no questions, Madam President, I'll go to the resolutions.
Sorry, any questions? Let's proceed.
Certainly. Moving on to 23-424, which is authorizing the Council of the City of Trenton to hold an executive session, which we will move to at the end of the agenda. Department of Administration 23-337, resolution authorizing the settlement of a workers' compensation claim in the matter of Frank Fanning versus City of Trenton, claim petition number 2019-28790, in the claim amount of $52,935.48, including attorney fees and costs. I imagine, Mr. Solicitor, this will go for roll call?
That's correct.
Thank you. Resolution 23-425, resolution authorizing a contract with Bell Marketing LP for the renewal purchase of Microsoft Office 365 software licenses for the City of Trenton, awarded through New Jersey State Contract number T-3121 20-TELE-01510 in an amount not to exceed $98,245.50.
Any questions?
Madam President?
Councilwoman Figueroa Kettner.
I just have one quick question. I'm just seeing that this date is backdated. Was there payment proposed prior to that wasn't made, or what is the reason for the backdate of May 25th, 2021? Anybody? Can anybody answer the question? Oh, thank you.
Good afternoon, or good evening, Madam President, if I may. Sorry, Councilwoman. What threw us off a little bit is that we are not backdating our contract. In fact, there is no backdating. The date of May 25th, 2021 is the date that the state of New Jersey awarded this contract. And they awarded a 5-year contract from May 25th, 2021 to May 24th, 2026. So essentially why that's relevant to this resolution is that for us to use the state contract, any award we make has to fall completely within those 2 dates. So we just have to report it as part of the resolution. But our contract is just to buy these renewals for a one-time renewal. So we'll very likely, given that these are TEL renewals, be back with you in a year for another one-time renewal, probably at the same price based on the New Jersey state contract. But at that time, we will once again report to you that the state contract goes from May 2021 to May 2026.
Thank you.
Council President?
Let's proceed. Just,
Is this going to be roll call or consent?
consent.
Moving on, Resolution 23-426, resolution authorizing a 60-day contract extension to Mercer Council on alcoholism and drug addiction for the Employee Assistance Program for the City of Trenton employees for the Department of Administration from date of award in an amount not to exceed $8,333.34.
Is that correct in Mercer Council, or should it be Mercer County?
Good evening, Madam President. If I may.
Good evening.
That is Mercer Council
It
on
is Mercer.
alcoholism. It's a contractor that we work with to provide employee assistance programming, so counseling and other such services. It's not the government entity, the Mercer County. They just operate here in Mercer County.
Thank you, sir.
Of course.
Any questions? Consent.
Moving on, Resolution 23-427, resolution authorizing an amendment to resolution number 23-338, awarded to Mark Gialella for telephone cabling, computer cabling, installation, and repairs of Centrex for a period of 2 years, with an option to extend 1 additional year from the date of award in an amount not to exceed $340,000.
Questions? Consent.
Resolution 23-428, 23-441 have been pulled by administration, as I haven't understood. And 23-442 was voted on earlier.
Wait. No. 23-428 is not pulled.
My apologies. Resolution 23-428. Resolution authorizing the appropriation of $1 million from the funds allocated to the City of Trenton under the American Rescue Plan Act of 2021 to the Novella Center for Entrepreneurship.
Questions? Roll call.
Department of Finance, Resolution 23-429, resolution of the City of Trenton and the County of Mercer, State of New Jersey, authorizing the submission of an application to the local finance board requesting approval to adopt a bond ordinance appropriating $33,895,350, therefore, and authorizing the issuance of $32,288,650 bonds or notes for the city relating to various 2023 capital acquisitions and improvements under the provisions of the Municipal Qualified Bond Act, NJSA 40A:3-1, et sec, and pursuant to the provisions of NJSA 40A2-7.
Yeah, Madam President, we're filling this one up to second.
Thank you, sir.
Resolution 23-430, resolution authorizing the execution and delivery of loan agreements for the not to exceed $25 million water utility bonds, Series 2023, to be executed by the City of Trenton and the County of Mercer, State of New Jersey, and each of the New Jersey Infrastructure Bank and the State of New Jersey, acting by and through the New Jersey Department of Environmental Protection, and further authorizing the execution and delivery of an escrow agreement, all pursuant to the state fiscal year 2024 New Jersey Water Bank Environmental Infrastructure Financing Program.
Questions? Yes, Councilwoman Williams.
Thank you. My only question is, with this, I know it's for the Environmental Infrastructure Financing Program, but none of this money would be used to retire previous bond offerings, correct?
No, this is actually for the work that was done under the lead line replacement. Everett Johnson, our bond counsel, actually has been waiting, and I would like for him to come on board. There are 4 items on the docket pertaining to this, and I think it's important for everyone to hear what each one is. So I know we're skipping 433, but the others are also of the same nature. So I would like for him just to address all of them now, if permitted.
Please, thank you.
Thank you.
On your call, Madam President.
Oh, no, he's way through.
Oh, there he is.
Thank you, sir.
Good evening, Mayor,
Good evening.
Council, President, Council. Everett Johnson from Lisbon, Pittsburgh, Bond Council to the City of Trenton. As was explained by Adam, resolutions 23, 430, 431, 432, and 443 are related to financings by the city through the New Jersey Infrastructure Bank. I'll go one at a time. The first one being 430. The city already issued notes to the Infrastructure Bank to upfront fund the lead service line replacements. And the way the New Jersey Infrastructure Bank works is they basically lend the city money at lower interest rates than the city would have achieved if they had gone out on their own. They also have some portion of the debt that will be forgiven, so you're not going to have to pay back the full $25 million. And what they do is they loan you the money for a short-term note during the work. Once the work is completed, then they roll that note into a permanent bond issue, which is what you're doing right now. So the city closed a $25 million note, I believe it was in 2021, and work was done, that is now being completed, and now the Infrastructure Bank requires the note to be converted into a long-term bond, which you paid off for a 30-year period. The same thing applies for the $15 million loan. That's why you see two resolutions for 25 and 2 for $15 million. The $15 million loan was the original loan. I think that was in 2020, the year before. $25 million loan Same thing, it was phase one, they loaned the city money, the city hired contractors to DWW, they implemented the lead service line replacement for that particular phase, that work has now been completed. Now the New Jersey Infrastructure Bank is requiring the city to convert that short-term loan to a long-term loan of a 30-year period. So they're both being done at the same exact time. And that is pretty much what these resolutions entail. I guess I'll get a little bit more detail about one perform and sale resolution, which I'll conquer both at the same time. 31 and 32, they authorize the city to issue bonds to the New Jersey Infrastructure Bank. The way they do it, there is a bond issued to the Infrastructure Bank itself, which is assessed at a market rate interest loan, which is a AA interest rate, which basically is the best credit rating possible. The other portion of the loan is given to the state, and that is without interest. So that particular part of the loan will be interest-free. And so 23, 431 is a $25 million loan, 23, 432 is a $15 loan. 23, 430 basically just authorizes the city to sign a loan agreement with the state, a loan agreement with the Infrastructure Bank, and an escrow agreement with the escrow agent that they select. And that's 2430 applies for a $20 million loan, 25 million loan, and 443 applies for a $15 million loan. So that is pretty much it in a nutshell. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask them. I'm here for you.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson. Do we have any questions? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Have a good evening.
You also. Proceed, Mr. Hardy.
On your call, Madam President, roll call or consent?
Oh, I'm sorry, consent. For all four.
And
It's 430, 431, 432, 443, 431, 432, 430, 443.
I'm sorry, 433 is in there too?
No, 433 is not in there.
Resolution 23-433, resolution authorizing assignment of 161 tax sale certificates for less than the redemptive value of $8,061,273.85 pursuant to NJSA 54:5114.
Questions?
Madam President?
Madam Vice President.
Thank you. I had asked this question, excuse me, previously, but when we ask the time frame that the taxes have not been paid, it's a time frame of 16 years. How do we get to that point where it's been 16 years of non-payment? How do we let that happen? And what are we doing? So, I thought the last time when we went over some of these tax sale certificates, because it was a long period of time that had passed, we had talked about it, we were rushing it up, we're getting it together, it's gonna be fine, it's gonna be great. And now, it's items from 2003 to 2019. Thank you.
Sure. The city has a lot of liens. None of you were here 16 years ago. Actually, if they're from 2003, that's 20 years. Some of them are from 2003, I believe. You have to continue to take care of them on a yearly basis. When the council does not agree to do foreclosures or assignments, if the administration or the mayor is not willing to do that, then that's how you get something that's 20 years old. Doing my best to get rid of all of them. But it doesn't happen overnight. So far this year with this council, we've assigned and foreclosed on a lot of properties. I don't have exact numbers, but including this resolution, we will be able to lower our reserve for uncollected taxes in next year's budget substantially. Like 6 million, maybe 8. Last year, we were only able to authorize, I believe, one assignment list.
And that's all that the council would agree to.
So there will be
And
more to come.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we're kind of down to the end of what anybody would want. We don't have the inventory that we used to have. We, at one time in the city, I believe, had 5,000, 6,000 leads. Now we're down to 750. So we're getting rid of them as we go through.
Thank you.
So I'm wondering that if we had, this is not necessarily for you, thank you. I'm wondering with the ARPA funds that, you know, when do we start? I mean, it's nice we have the part where we give to the nonprofits and we give to the for-profits and everything like that. But when do we get back to the residents, right? When we look at these liens and things like that, I'm sure some of this happened because of COVID. I'm sure when we get to the COVID years, right? I'm sure that people lost revenue or things just happened. Like, why can't we purpose some of this money, the ARPA funds, towards helping the residents or creating programs or something to help with past taxes or, you know, just some of these problems to really help the people?
I propose using $15 million of ARPA funding to do property tax rebates. That was denied by last council. Last council voted not to execute on these lists. So if council wants to propose something like that, you're more than free to do so. But in the meantime, we have to follow the law. But the last council specifically said no to homeowners and no to closing these tax liens.
So can we get, and I know Mr.
Most of the last council. Yeah, not Mr. Harrison.
Right, everybody but Joe.
Everybody but Joe, that's a button.
I know Mr. Beach has the numbers and stuff like that. Can you please send the thanks, Mayor. Can you please send the council the updated balances and stuff, just so we have the numbers from the ARPA funds? Could you just have somebody forward that to us so we can see? But again, can we start having the conversations about like what the mayor tried to do to see what we can do, because it's about us helping the people, and that's when we start to make the most impact amongst the residents, right, and give everybody a bang for their buck that's here, right? They deserve a break too. We're giving money to everybody else. Let's give it to Trenton.
Understood. And the only other point I want to make is we need to research the issue of taxes because.
Well, whatever we can do, like even if it's
used for tax purposes.
even if it's money for helping if somebody had a fire or something, or helping for child care issues for people that need help to take care of their children about some things, right? Single moms and dads. I don't know, but what it can do, people lost money during COVID in a lot of different ways. I'm sure that we could be creative to figure out something that would actually work to help benefit the residents of the city while we're moving.
I'm happy to work with any kind of subcommittee that you want to form on the council.
Absolutely.
And we could, put our heads together and see what we can do.
Okay, thank you. So we'll look forward to the list from you. Thank you so much, Mayor.
I actually have it here, but I'll email it.
No, email tomorrow, that's fine. Thank you. Thank you, Mayor.
Absolutely, Madam Vice President. Where are we on that one? That was up. Roll call.
Moving on to Department of Water and Sewer. My apologies. Resolution 23-443. That's all? Okay, yeah, okay, fine. So we're on to 43. Yes, okay. Resolution 23-434, resolution authorizing a contract award to Foley Inc. for the purchase of parts, services, and repairs to the loaders and backhoe loaders for the Division of Construction and Maintenance awarded through National Cooperative Joint Powers Alliance and JPA. Source of contract number 032119-CAT from date of award to May 14th, 2024 in an amount not to exceed $75,000.
Consent.
Resolution 23-435, resolution authorizing the reduction of sewer charges of $589.62 at 41 Dexter Street, account number 615-3178-305, due to non-entry of water into the sewer service.
Questions? Consent.
Resolution 23-436, resolution accepting a bid and awarding a contract to Foley Incorporated for natural gas engine maintenance contract services for the water filtration plant for a period of 1 year with an option to extend the contract for 1 additional year from date of award in an amount not to exceed $90,575. Bid 2023-53.
Question. Consent.
Resolution 23-437, resolution accepting a bid and awarding a contract to EMSL Analytical Inc. for Legionella testing for the Department of Water and Sewer Trenton water filtration plant for a period of 1 year from date of award with an option to extend the contract for 1 additional year in an amount not to exceed $111,438. Bid 2023-54.
Questions? Consent.
Department of Housing and Economic Development, Resolution 23-438, resolution rejecting a proposal received for Trenton Mobility and Opportunity Vehicular Inquiry System.
Questions?
Madam President,
Madam Vice President.
just real quick, I'm sorry, is this the same Trenton moves that we got the? Okay, so
Yes, it
what?
is.
No.
No, this is Trenton moves, Council Vice President, so you're correct, and this was the exchange we had yesterday in terms of, rejecting the single bid as had been discussed and agreed with DOT. So, since they pulled it anyway, we might as well just officially reject the bid.
Right, you were moving in that direction anyway. You were moving right based on this, yeah, because we had this a week or so ago. Okay, so now, okay, very good. So the letter we got ain't really meaning nothing because we was moving to reject it anyway in the first place. Okay, good, thank you.
Thank you.
Consent.
All right, moving on. Resolution 23-439, resolution designating Avalon Management Group as redeveloper of various properties, North Clinton Avenue, Monmouth Street, and Monmouth Place, located within the train station redevelopment area.
Questions? Consent.
Resolution 23-440, resolution authorizing the application and acceptance of a brownfield impact fund grant of up to $300,000 to conduct a remedial action on the Federation Metal site located at 300 Enterprise Avenue.
Questions? Councilwoman Williams.
Thank you. My question is the timeline for actually taking the grant and money and actually putting it to the action involved with it. So when will the remediation begin?
I will have to check with Mr. Capasso and let you know that, Councilwoman Williams.
All right, thank you very much, because that's the key area.
Any other questions? Consent.
Consent. I'm sorry, was it?
Yes, sir.
My apologies.
And Madam President, I believe we have some walk-on resolutions at this time. I believe we have Mr. Cruz still here to address them. My line of sight, I can't see.
Good evening, Madam President. Adam Cruz, Business Administrator. Good evening, Council. The three resolutions that we are requesting to be walked on for the Thursday meeting are actually, two of them are related. One of them is actually from an award that we received from the Department of Community Affairs under Local Government Services. We received, which is good news, $4.9 million in supplemental transitional aid. Yes. $1,100,000 for Department of Recreation to remove 200 dead trees and compromised ash trees. So this is money that we no longer will be bonding. This is money that actually, as soon as the Council President, the resolution has to be adopted, Council President will have to sign the addendum along with the mayor. We give it to Felipe, Felipe gives me a check. So we will be getting the money immediately, and this will be actually a very effective, quick impact on the city, especially when it comes to DPW, needing equipment and stuff. I mean, we're working with our last sweeper in the city, and this will be really, a really nice thing to do for DPW and for the residents. The other resolution, Madam President, is 23445. This resolution is actually for the CBIZ Insurance Services. The doing business as Border and Perlman, they are actually the brokers of the city when it comes to any and all types of insurance, as in police, general liability, workers' comp, professional insurance. Yeah, professional insurance, yeah. I believe you had the copies.
They were given out to all the council members.
Yes, we already have the copy.
I should have them, 23-445.
Yes, 23-445. And so because they are already working on certain items for us, we don't want to wait, Madam President, for this to actually go any further. I mean, we could wait on to the next council meeting, but I would much rather, we have a need for their services now, so I would much rather just put it on the docket and not have to backdate it to, to like the day after tomorrow or something at the next council meeting. So this is why I am asking council to please consider the vote for them. And the other one, as I mentioned, is actually a resolution for the award of the insurance. And this insurance will cover, this is actually 23446. And this one is being awarded to premium, this is for premium payment to Safety National. And this is 1382 Schultz Road, St. Louis, Missouri. And it's for general, automobile, law enforcement, and public officials, miscellaneous liability, and excess liability coverage in an amount not to exceed $1,044,120 from October 10, 2023 to October 10, 2024. And as you can see, we're trying to be proactive at putting it on the docket before it expires and then coming to you at the next council meeting, which is a few days after the expiration date.
Excellent.
All right.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
So we'll allow the three walk-ons?
Yes, for 23-444, resolution authorizing the city of Trenton to accept supplemental transitional aid from the state of New Jersey in the amount of $4,972,500 and to execute an addendum to the calendar year 2022 memorandum of understanding.
Questions? Roll call.
All right. And for walk-on 23-445, resolution authorizing a premium payment to CBIZ Insurance Services Incorporated, CBIZ Born Enrollment, 200 Charles Ewing Boulevard, Suite 330, Ewing, New Jersey, 08628, who will remit payment to Safety National for excess workers' compensation in an amount not to exceed $511,522 from October 10th, 2023 to October 10th, 2024.
You did say that's 23-446, is that correct?
445.
For Safety National?
CBIZ.
Okay, all right. Yeah, I wrote it wrong, CBIZ. Okay, thank you, sir. Questions? Consent.
For walk-on resolution 23-446, resolution authorizing the premium payment to Safety National, 1382 Schmitz Road, St. Louis, Missouri, for general automobile, law enforcement, and public officials, miscellaneous liability and excess liability coverage in an amount not to exceed $1,044,120 from October 10th, 2023 to October 10th, 2024.
Questions? Consent.
All right.
I have a question. With the first one, 23-444, I did roll call that.
You did, in fact.
I did. Do we have a problem with consent? Can I change my order and just do consent, please? I just said it like, hold it. Consent, please, for 23-444.
That's not a problem.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm like, wait a minute, like. Okay. Good. Thank you, sir.
Alrighty. Moving on to ordinances for first reading and introduction. Ordinance 23-048, an ordinance amending chapter 146 of the Code of the City of Trenton and supplementing various redevelopment plans and land development ordinance to permit cannabis uses.
Questions?
Which will be for roll call.
Council President?
Councilwoman Williams?
Thank you. Just have a few clarifying questions, just to make sure, because I know we're trying to get this ordinance over and done with. So I had one question right off the bat for page 13 rather. And actually I did want to just say on page 10 where it lists the cannabis dispensaries should not be located within 250 feet front entrance to a place of worship. I'm really grateful that we were able to work that out. That's really important. But on 13, I had a question. For class 1 and class 2, it says after a 5-year period, council may increase the total, a total to not exceed 20. So that would mean in 2028, that would come back to council for a ordinance or resolution to increase the number from 15 to 20, sir?
Council President, comment?
Yes, please.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, thank you. And then on page 15, on number 6 at the top of the page, so we have the portion regarding if a license or application is not approved, and that they would, and if a regular applicant, non-Trenton resident necessarily, would be returned a refund of $5,000 on their application fee of $10,000. If a Trenton resident has their social equity application rejected, they would also receive a 50% discount also. Is that correct? I just want to make sure I read that.
That's correct.
Okay, thank you. So then on page 19, and this has come up in different discussions we've had regarding signage. So, and this question just comes about to how this is going to be enforced, and also the businesses that would not come under this ordinance, the ones who have set up CBD smoke shops that are advertising with marijuana leaves in their windows, etc. this ordinance would not affect those businesses, so we would need another ordinance regarding signage for those businesses?
I fully understand the question, but
Sure, so this portion under signage, I was wondering how we're going to enforce the signage. Is that particularly under, is that going to be coming under landmarks, or is that going to come under planning board?
well, it's actually under the CRC guidelines. That's actually a state mandate that the signage is very limited. If someone were to be violating that by putting, you know, a picture of a cannabis leaf or something of the sort, that's something that would put their license in jeopardy with CRC, because they have very strict, specific rules on signages and what's permitted. If you looked at any of the dispensaries that are currently in operation, you wouldn't know that they were a dispensary, but their signage is just typically a name. If we get wind that somebody is violating that, we would report that to CRC, and they would take action on the license level. With respect to the other smoke shops, are you talking about folks
Yes.
who are currently selling cannabis without a license? Is that the...
Correct, because that's come up a bunch of times this year.
Well, look, very candidly, they have to be addressed. We issued a letter to anybody that we had suspicion of, believe that were currently selling unlicensed cannabis in the city of Trenton. They were given a date certain to make their application not only to CRC, but also to the CAC for a recommendation to come before this council and get a license. So they wouldn't apply to them, but quite frankly, they should be operating anyways, we all know. So I think we're to the point now we have to address that issue.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right.
Yes, let's proceed.
Ordinance 23-059, an ordinance creating the position of principal mail clerk in the Department of Water and Sewer, fixing the salary range, therefore, and setting forth certain regulations for the implementation of the same. Roll call.
Any questions? Let's proceed.
All right, public hearing and second reading for ordinances to be held on October 19th, 2023. Council President, if you wish, we may move to public comment.
Yes, please.
All right. We have Michael Walker. Taya Brown Humphrey. All right. Rodney Washington. Cherie Jameson. Andrew Patchen. Darnell Brown. Joseph Chapman. Tim London. David Ponton. Tashana L. List. We have more people. Hey, that's good. Wonderful. Miss, before you begin, we just want to remind you that please state your name and address. You have 5 minutes to voice your comments. Thank you. Also, this is not a back and forth session. You can voice your concerns. They are not obligated to respond to your comments. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So good to be here. Hi. My name is Tasha Ellis. I live at 67 South Lowgate Street in Trenton, New Jersey. I stand here as the Assistant Director at Creative Change Counseling. It is a mental health agency where we specialize in behavior health care, mental health outpatient, substance abuse outpatient program, intensive and community treatment program, behavior support services, and therapeutic recreational services. I'm so excited that we have been selected as the lead agency for the Trenton Restorative Justice Grant Hub. The hub serves as a resource center for anyone coming out of the juvenile justice system or at risk for going into the juvenile justice system, and also serves as an alternative program option for those who are remanded in a correctional facility. Tonight, it's nighttime, I am requesting a collaboration with the city by way of an operation where the hub can be by city-owned property. We do have the funding, we do have the staff, we are licensed, we have clinical therapists, behavior therapists, we have all that is needed to run this hub. This hub will be a resource center for that specific population. They can come and get housing resources, mental health resources, they'll have access to groups, mental academic support, we'll have an academic instructor. They will also get, they'll also have case management, and this will be all free to the residents of this specific population that's noted. So we need you. We need the city. We want to serve Trenton. We needed to be in Trenton, and I've been doing a lot of work here for a long time. I'm a teen mom here. I give back here all the time. I ran these streets, and now I make sure that I support these streets. I'm also a therapist who do a lot of great work here, and I know this hub will change the lives of a lot of Trenton residents who I've actually counseled on Hoffman and Stuyvesant, who have records, who don't have resources, who face homelessness, who have not dealt with their mental health. And we know that people in our city have to deal with mental health. They have to, process their experiences and where they come from, and the hub will be that place for them. So we need you. That's it. Okay.
Thank you, Ms. Ellis.
Thank you. Up next, we have Mr. Monroe Larrymore.
He's coming.
My name is Monroe Larrymore. I live at 260 North Water Street, apartment 504. As to mental illness, I think I said before, there was a 16-year-old girl who was said to be mentally ill. They took off in love for 4 days, and she overcame it. Then he put her back on milk after 4 days. She became mentally ill again. As far as drugs go, what's the difference between alcohol and reefers when it comes to, I can't quite think of what I was going to say. But there was a fella in Mexico who wrote a book, and he said people use drugs to bear with the world, and they sell drugs to survive the world. So we know that there's $1 million somebody wants for a baseball park, but like the woman said up there, what about the needs of the people in the city who are struggling with extreme difficulties? We need to be more concerned about taking care of the people first before we worry about the baseball park. As far as this waterwork situation, we need to make sure that people's appearance are right, their attitude is right, and their behavior is right. They got to treat people not like a product of business, but as we're all brothers and sisters, need to treat each other right. As far as blood billing goes, I'm involved with Xfinity right now, and they told me that I would be cheaper going with them than Metro, and now I'm in a jam where they charging me more money than what they should be charging. So there's a lot of shenanigans going on with people who are older, maybe not all as smart in math or writing, and they're being taken advantage of. That's what I'm dealing with right now. So I had to go home and figure out all the paperwork and see how these jokers are getting very slick, and I hope I can get out of the jam that they got me into. Y'all have a great night.
Thank you, Mr. Larrymore.
Gia November Lang.
Hello, everybody. I'm Gia November Lang. I live at 1481 Mayfield Road. So you can speak to the microphone and give your name again, please. Gia November Lang. Okay. And I know that I volunteer for Trenton Animal Shelter. I've been there since February of 2020. And I know that there's plenty of talk about millions of dollars that were earmarked for a new shelter. It seems as if every time it gets brought up, it gets brushed under the rug, and we don't really have any specific reasons why nothing has really come of it. And I know that the money is only good for X amount of time, and then we don't have that opportunity anymore. And I am hoping that Maria Richardson, when she addresses some things that have to do with the shelter on Thursday, I'm hoping that she can also touch on what's going on with that, because I actually did hear from one of the city workers that a location was decided on and that there were permits being signed, and all of a sudden, then there's nothing. So I would really like to know about the progress on what's going on with that and why it's at a standstill. I think the shelter is grossly undersized for what it needs to be for an inner city shelter. I mean, I've seen the volume every single day for years there, and it's in desperate need of some updates. So that's basically what I would like to have some discussed, if she can, when she brings this to the table on Thursday. Thank you.
Thank you.
Melinda Messinel.
Hi, my name is Melinda Messinio. I reside at 1644 Old Skippack Road in Harleysville, Pennsylvania. For those of you that don't know where that is, it's an hour and a half from here. I drive for the last 2 years and change. I drive to the shelter as a volunteer. And Jenna, thank you for stopping at the shelter. I understand that shelter visits will be discussed when Maria is here on Thursday. All I can ask is if you will just consider taking some time to go to the shelter. I know Joe has been there in the past as well. And just unannounced, take a look at how the city's employees are treating each other, the volunteers, and the animals. Some days it's fine, some days it's great, but some days it's deplorable, and it's really hard to watch. I'm one of the band volunteers. The reason that I drive an hour and a half to volunteer in Trenton is because the people were welcoming. The staff at the time, the rescue running the shelter, my fellow volunteers, they're wonderful people. They devote everything they have to a city they don't even live in. And I do the same, because we love those animals. I don't owe the city of Trenton anything, but I still come here. I pay for things here, I buy stuff here, I frequent things here, when I could just do that at home. But I come here. The people that are up and down the street, they treat us like we're people. And it would be really impressive if we could see the shelter staff do the same for the people that are doing their jobs for free. All I ask is just, if you could take that into consideration before Maria gives her presentation, just, if you could just take a moment and just see what's going on there. Bring those questions with you on Thursday. I realize that's a very short time, but that's all I can ask, is just, those animals have no voice. They just have the people that are going out of their way to be there for free. It's free labor for the city. That's all I have to say. Thank you very much.
April Jane.
Good evening. My name is April James. I live at 47 Park Lake Avenue in Titusville, New Jersey. I think Melinda, I'm also a volunteer at the Trenton Animal Shelter, who has been banned or suspended, whatever you want to call it, I think Melinda and her traveling an hour and a half is a great representation about the dedication the volunteers have to that Trenton shelter and the animals there, or we wouldn't be doing what we're doing. We live our lives doing everything we can to find homes for those animals. And unfortunately, we don't seem to be appreciated and been banned more than once. The last time we were banned over a year ago, we were never given a reason why. We were finally brought back without being told a reason why we were banned. And we went back because we cared so much about those dogs. And the shelter seemed to be changing at that point. They brought in new employees because they were overworked, the employees there. There were so many dogs there. We thought it was going in a new direction. They brought in a wonderful dog trainer. And everybody really started working together. We had been asking for a year to be allowed to have adoption events on the weekends. They finally allowed us to do that. And since then, we have held adoption events every Saturday and Sunday for the last 3 months. We have gotten over 70 dogs either adopted, fostered, or rescued in the past 3 months. And yet, last week, 6 or 7 of our volunteers once again got banned from the shelter. Out of the blue, no warning, no paper saying anything they were doing wrong. They just get a letter that is very unclear as to why they were banned. Just that because even though we appreciate and you're doing a wonderful job, your behaviors don't align with our programs. It was very vague. Nobody understood. And I was banned 3 months ago. And still, to this day, I was banned by Maria Richardson, have not gotten a reason why. After 20 phone calls, emails, asking, why am I being banned? Why am I being suspended? Not one response. So the volunteers are the voice of the dogs, but our voice isn't even being heard. And it just really breaks my heart that women that are trying so hard and so dedicated to just finding these dogs homes are being pushed aside like we're causing harm to the shelter. Our only goal is to find homes for those dogs, and we are being very successful at that. So we don't understand, we don't even ask to be paid for what we're doing. We do it out of the goodness of our hearts. We don't understand why we're being treated like this, and we really think we deserve some answers. We work nonstop 24 hours a day. We're constantly emailing, texting, we're on a thread, we're networking with rescues, we're doing everything we can to help the problem, but yet we continue to be disregarded and have no voice. So I just wanted to bring that up, and hopefully there'll be some resolution and we'll be acknowledged for what we're doing and not treated like we don't mean anything, we have no value. We know we have value, the dogs know we have value, and the public knows it. We're getting a lot of support because of what we've been going through, and people are outraged. So I'm really asking that somebody hear our side of the story, because up to now, nobody is willing to do that. Thank you very much for listening.
Thank you, Ms. Jane.
Okay.
At this point, Council President, we've reached the end of public comment. If you'd like, so we can continue on to civic comment. Do you wish to forego civic comment?
Just for individuals from the animal shelter, you guys will be back here on Thursday, correct? Yes. Okay, I'll reserve for Thursday.
Anyone else?
Yes, I just want to say 4 things. There's a football game this Friday night. The boys football team is playing Hopewell Valley Central, at Hopewell Valley Central, 7 p.m. If you can attend, I was at the Notre Dame game the other night, and though they were outmatched, these boys fought like blood and daylight to represent Trenton, and they deserve our support. Also Thursday at 4 p.m. at Nottingham High School, the varsity girls soccer team will be playing. against Nottingham. Also, the boys varsity soccer team will be playing at home against Nottingham. And just finally, I'm just really proud of our council at all times, but I'm really proud this past Sunday, we almost all of us were able to participate in the Peace Walk, which was a really wonderful, positive event for the varsity.
That's it.
All right, and if you'd like to make a motion to move into executive session.
One more, Councilwoman Edwards.
One comment before, thank you, Council President. I just wanted to address Tashana Ellis about the Creative Change Counseling. Thank you for coming out tonight and doing what you do. Our city desperately needs these types of services, and I pray that your hub does come to fruition, and it will. We're just going to speak that into existence. So I want to point out our business administrator, Adam Cruz, right here, and next to him is the assistant administrator, and then we have the chief of staff over here. So if you want to talk to either of those three gentlemen about, you know, your wishes of procuring a city-owned property for the hub. We talked earlier about possibility of maybe one of the many police stations or somewhere that's already established as being severely underused in the city. So I just wanted to put that out there before we leave tonight. Thank you. Have a good evening.
Awesome. Anyone else? So I do want to, again, I'm glad that you did bring that up, Councilwoman Edwards. I do echo the same sentiments. We want to thank everyone for coming out. Do want to give a big shout out to DCA for getting us that 4.9. Yeah. And then our phenomenal directors, our department. Congratulations to Mrs. Joan Semple and and to all of our great directors. We just want you to know that we do appreciate each and every one of you for being out here, and that includes our law folks out here faithfully, our clerk division. We appreciate you guys. We appreciate you. And always have to give, we don't say it enough, but to Ray Ingram was always in the back taking care of us. Thank you. Ray, appreciate you. And of course, our security in the back, Mr. Roberts, Officer Roberts, we appreciate you for always being in here. Ms. Ruth Carter was faithful. Single night stays with us. We appreciate you. On that, I want to just say the City Council, the City of Trenton, recognizing that the people of Trenton have made us guardians of the public trust. We are committed to govern with integrity and fiscal responsibility, to seek excellence in the city's operations, and to serve all the city's people with respect and compassion. With that, I'd like a motion for us to move into executive session.
So, second.
Any opposed? All say aye. Any opposed? All right.
Yes,
None opposed.
Mr. President.
Council